Twilight's Backstage Pass, Starswirl Excitement. Summer had never been this great for the Rainbooms. With tons of activities coming their way, they never missed it, especially the schedule they have planned for the weekend, the Starswirl Festival. Sunset wanted to go there because of PostCrush, one of the best bands in the festival, but when it comes to Human Twilight, she has less plans other than hanging out with her friends. She may worship the bands, but not in the way Sunset does. Both Sunset and Twilight are walking by the statue in the courtyard of Canterlot High. They have everything planned out when they're going to White and Rarity's RV tonight, and Sunset wants to remind Princess Twilight that she's leaving for the weekend. "So are you packed up for tonight?" Sunset asks to her best friend. "Yes, I'm all set for the trip," Twilight replied, despite feeling a bit bored at the moment. "Is there something wrong?" Sunset stopped before she steps through the portal. "Well," Twilight paused until she changed the subject. "Why are you going to Equestria instead of writing a message?" "Because after our lac vacation, when I was taking her home, I told her I was going to come over to Twilight's castle and remind her." "Is it because the statue is farther from anywhere we go?" Sunset signed from Twilight's next question. She may remember the quicksand portal from the island months ago, but she doubts there will be another one in a different location. "The thing is, I want Twilight to know where I'm going. Back during our trip in Camp Everfree, I forgot to bring my journal, and it didn't make things easier when she didn't find out about the situation." With everything she needed to explain, Twilight felt puzzled. If her counterpart actually been with Sunset all this time, she would have found something that was the opposite of what her counterpart really is. "And do you think she's still busy?" Twilight asked. "Obviously. Why? Are you thinking you want her to hang out with you like before?" The bookworm nodded with an awkward smile, but Sunset rolled her eyes. It was a lucky shot a month ago, but as of now, the Princess of Friendship has a lot to do in Equestria. "Do you remember when she talked to you about princess duties?" Sunset recalled. "Yeah, but I never did any research about princesses. I'm more of a sci-fi fan during my free time." "Didn't think my counterpart's life was more complicated than me." Twilight then made her way to the steps of the entrance and sat down. As for Sunset, she didn't want to bother Princess Twilight's schedule, but her friend deserves more in the Starswirl Festival. However, it's still a questionable chance to help her at the moment. Sunset takes out her journal, which surprises Twilight. "What are you doing?" "I'm going to send a message to Twilight about this." "Wait, you can't do that. I don't want her to feel irritated." Just when Sunset was about to write her first words, she stood in place. It made her surprised that Twilight is starting to understand the life of what princesses do. Twilight got back up and came up to Sunset. "I understand you're trying to help, but I have to respect her princess life." Twilight, looking at Sunset's page of her journal, still blank. Sunset, on the other hand, thinks otherwise. "Twilight," she closed her journal, "I do respect her life, but I respect you too. You and her had a great time back on the cruise, and since we're going somewhere that's on land, she might meet some friends she made last year. But how are we going to resolve her being occupied in the festival? We can give her a tour. She was part of the Rainbooms before you came along, so she will enjoy the music." As much Twilight agrees with Sunset's point, especially the idea the princess has her friends to help her duties when she's away, she's still biased on the possibility. There's going to be a lot going on in the Starswirl Festival, and Twilight has little plans there. There's only one element that will keep her happy from the entire weekend, and it will keep her in the festival for the rest of the weekend. "Okay, but I think you should remind her of what the festival is going to be like, and maybe have her brain start like Glimmers, just to make sure she can help." Sunset felt relieved that her friend gave her the idea about her counterpart brain start like that to make things easier. She reopened her journal and wrote down her message to the Princess of Friendship. Dear Twilight Sparkle, I was going to meet you face to face, but I changed my mind. Me and my friends are going to the Starswirl Festival this weekend, but your counterpart doesn't have a lot planned there. This isn't an emergency, she's just going to be a bit bored. We've been thinking you might want to come over to keep her occupied for the weekend. You don't have to say less, it's just an offer. The festival is going to be a music festival where PostCrush and other bands perform on stage. We have backstage passes and also spares for you. Speaking of that, your counterpart wants you to bring Starlight Glimmer in case we need her help. Like if you're feeling unhappy in the festival, she could cheer you up. Not saying this to offend you, we just know you're busy. We're going to be leaving tonight. Take the time you need to make your decision. Again, it's your decision if you want to come. Your friend, Sunset Shimmer. After she wrote down the message, she closes her book as the magic vibrates it. This will take time for her to answer, so we're just gonna have to wait, Sunset said. Yeah, I know, this is like texting, Twilight replied. I'm still unsure if she's going to have her friends back her up like before. Then they heard the pearl from the statue reacting, which caught their attention. In less than 5 seconds, the Princess of Friendship came out in the open with a huge, excited smile on her face. She rushed up to her two friends, which caused them to flinch. You're going on a trip that involves Starswirl? Princess Twilight's reaction was so unexpected, it made her counterpart speechless. Especially, it wasn't even a minute when she read Sunset's message. Yeah, and you didn't respond to my message, Sunset asked. Just when the princess was about to squeal, she completely forgot about it. Oh, sorry, I want you to know that I do have plans. I just got home a few minutes ago, Princess Twilight blushed. So you want to come? Human Twilight added. Sure, Princess Twilight answered while giving her counterpart a hug. You may give me the best cruise vacation, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a one-time thing between us. What do you mean? After the princess broke the hug, she tells her counterpart another thing about her. When I came back to Equestria after we went back, I realized you showed me what this world has so much to show. Kind of like what my friends did last year when I was on the beach. Camp Everfree, Crystal Prep, the mall. I miss those places a lot, and there's more I haven't went to. Sunset can't see what Princess Twilight is talking about. Places like Equestria Land and the Planetarium were the ones the princess had never been to. It's really hard to think she was away for so long that other people decided to fill her in, and if she misses the Starswirl Festival, it will make her disappointed. As for Human Twilight, she was more than happy to have her counterpart hanging out with her during the weekend. Not to mention she might see old faces she met last year, which could give her a chance to know what she did with them, giving her more of an opportunity to know more about her. I'll make sure yours and Starlight's backstage passes will be ready for ya, Human Twilight smirked. And I'll remind the others that the Princess of Friendship will be the guest of honor during the trip, Sunset smiled. Thank you, and sorry I surprised you without messaging you by journal, Princess Twilight scratched on the back of her head. It's okay, Pinkie Pie does that in some occasions. The three girls laugh with each other as they have everything planned out for the Starswirl Festival vacation. Princess Twilight returned to Equestria and reminds Starlight that they were going to the Mirror World for the weekend. They will pack everything they need while their friends will take care of everything when they're gone. Human Twilight couldn't think of a better way to make her experience in the festival any more fun. She may have less days with her counterpart from before, but they will make the weekend a long weekend. The Princess's Expectations. Princess Twilight went back to Sunset's World with Starlight Glimmer by her side. By the time they arrived, Rarity has her RV ready with all the other rain booms inside. As Twilight and Starlight enter inside the fashionista's vehicle, they leave Canterlot and making their way to their destination. Unlike Camp Everfree that's only 10 to 20 minutes away, the Starswirl Festival is almost an hour away. With the sun setting over the hills, the stars appear in the darkening sky. Both Twilight and Starlight looked out the window. wondering what awaits them in the festival itself tomorrow. Meanwhile, Sunset and the others watch the two new guesses, for this being the second time hanging out with Twilight and Starlight after for so long. I can't believe we're going to hang out with Twilight again, Applejack commented. Not to mention we have Starlight Glimmer this time, Rainbow added. Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, we only have 2 days, tomorrow and the next day, Sunset reminded. And we also need to know that the reason they'll heal is because of me, Human Twilight replied. But Twilight, darling, we understand, Rarity chimed while still paying attention on the road. We still had a great time back at the cruise a few months ago. We showed her everything. I'm pretty sure we will get our chance, Fluttershy added. Human Twilight remembered everything that happened during her time on the cruise, minus the rainbow dashes. She was with her princess counterpart the whole time and did a lot of activities with her. All of her friends had a great time, even when they weren't hanging out with the Princess of Friendship. In order to make things simpler, she walks up to her two pony friends. Twilight, Starlight. Yes, the two turned around. Can we have a talk for a second? As Human Twilight went back to where she was sitting, she begins the conversation. What type of activities you're looking forward to at the Starswirl Festival? Princess Twilight thought about it ever since she headed back to her world. She was too excited to think the festival would have something to do with Starswirl himself. Well, for it being all about music, I thought it would be an interesting experience. Other than my singing and dancing performance back on the cruise and watching all of you perform, I didn't know there was going to be a festival dedicated to other bands. Oh, trust me, you're going to love it, Sunset smirked as she gives Twilight and Starlight a flyer about the festival and the bands. You will be able to meet these bands and listen to the music on stage. There's going to be a lot more going on than you'd think. Why? Is there going to be surprises? Starlight asked. We never know until we see it for ourselves, Pinkie smiled. Twilight and Starlight looked at the flyer to see all the bands who are performing. Not to mention there's going to be stands for food and activities. Out of all the places she went to last year, Evergreen Forest, Crystal Prep, and the beach, the festival is a mystery to her. Instead of being on a boat for 1 week, she's on land for the whole weekend, meeting old and new faces for the first time since forever. Sunset, Twilight responded. Who is PostCrush? This made Sunset mesmerized about the band PostCrush, one of the best bands in the festival. They're only doing one reunion for this occasion, and I'm so excited to hear them after all this time. This made Twilight and Starlight look at each other. So it's basically like you girls, the Rainbooms, Starlight guessed. Hey, we're still in high school, Rainbow retorted. Sorry, I never listened to any of your songs. Twilight found Sunset's interest into PostCrush something she never expected from her. You really love them? She asked. Big time. I think you're going to love them too once you watch the performance, Sunset smiled. And the fact that Dirk Fizzleweed and his band are going to be there. It would be great if you give them a chance, Applejack added. Then Rarity remembered something. Oh, and when we get there, I will be happy to have you meet one of my personal friends, Vinia Venezia. The expectations in the Princess of Friendship have grown bigger with more names coming out from their friends. She wonders what awaits her once she enters the festival. I'll try to keep that in mind, she smiled with her eyes closed. It took time for Rarity to get to the festival after driving for almost an hour. The girls looked out the window and saw the entrance where they need the backstage passes in order to get in. While Twilight only gets a few seconds to look at the festival itself, she found it really unique. During her time in Camp Everfree with Timber and Glossio, she always knew that camping in the woods is all about nature. Now she realizes that anything that sometimes don't go together can happen out of the ordinary. This looks promising, Starlight commented, and my expectations might exceed, Twilight added. Rarity found a spot by the trees to park. She drove her RV off the road and parked a few yards where the festival is at. The Rainbooms got out and saw the other people just arrived. Tomorrow's gonna be sweet, Rainbow chilled. Twilight and Starlight looked at the tens of people preparing themselves for bed after arriving. Are you going to remember anyone you come across? Starlight asked. Maybe. It's been a year since I went to the beach, Twilight replied. I'm sure you will come across someone you met last year, Sunset wrapping her arm around Twilight. With only little time tonight, the only thing they need to do is sleep until the morning. They headed back in the RV as they tuck themselves inside their sleeping bags. While most of them get close to slumber, Princess Twilight's expectations will be put to the test once she sees the festival itself. Behind the entrance is where all the music is taking place among so many talented bands. She will find out what her friends are talking about, not to mention she will keep her counterpart occupied during the whole weekend. The first reunion. The sun rises on the first morning of the festival. The festival is open for people with backstage passes to come in. The Rainbooms, including Starlight Glimmer, wake up early enough to get in some of the lines. However, they decide to let Princess Twilight sleep in since human Twilight wants to have quality time with her. It's been almost 30 minutes that the Princess of Friendship is sleeping inside Rarity's RV until one of her friends came inside. Twilight, Sunset called as she makes her way to Twilight. Twilight, it's time to wake up. The princess's eyes slowly open, but her body is still in a tired scenario. Where is everyone? She asked. They headed to the festival half an hour ago. This made Twilight open her eyes in surprise. You mean they left without us? No. We agreed to go into groups of 3 since the festival is big. Sunset grabbed the princess's arm, lifting her on her feet while still in her pajamas. The other Twilight is waiting outside for you. When you get dressed, we can get something to eat at the Starswirl Festival for breakfast. Princess Twilight is at least happy that her counterpart is willing to spend time with her, and what awaits her in the Starswirl Festival could make her weekend in this world the best she'll ever have. After Princess Twilight put on her usual clothes, she and Sunset came out of the RV. The Twilights and Sunset make their way to the entrance of the festival. Luckily for them, one of the lines aren't as long as the others. Wow, looks like the third line has less people than last time, Sunset commented. Guess that 30 minutes I slept was probably for the best, Princess Twilight smiled. Not to mention you didn't oversleep, Human Twilight added. The 3 girls giggled as they wasted no time and made their way to the third line of the entrance. There are only 3 people in front of Twilight and her friends, but they're not just ordinary people with backstage passes. Princess Twilight recognizes 2 of them, while Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer recognizes the girl with the green hair. Wallflower Blush? Princess Twilight guessed. Dopey Hooves? After the 3 girls from the front heard some of their names, they turned around to the Twilights and Sunset. Twilights? Sunset? Wallflower reacted in happiness. Princess of Friendship, Dopey smiled as she gives Twilight a hug. I can't believe you're here to hang out in the festival, Sunset replied with her eyes wide. Dopey had a spare backstage pass and she offered me to come along, Wildflower showing off her backstage pass around her neck. That's really thoughtful, Human Twilight looking at Dopey. Yeah, I didn't want one friend to be left behind, Dopey scratched at the back of her head. As the 6 girls show their backstage passes to the security guard and one of the employees, they are allowed to walk around in the festival and do whatever they want as long as they follow the rules. Princess Twilight looked in her surroundings and saw so many stands, not to mention the activities waiting for her. She remembered how big it was when she saw bits of it last night, but now it's larger than she thought. Sunset and the others went to one of the stands where most of the food is at. They ordered hot dogs with buns and hash browns since they're only available in the morning. They made their way to one of the wooden tables and sat down to eat their breakfast. Wallflower Blush? Who's your friend? Princess Twilight pointed at the girl with the Alcon pony shirt. I'm Snowflower, the girl answered. I'm a huge fan of all the bands in this festival. We're going to find PostCrush after we're done eating. Wanna join? Wallflower offered as she eats one of her hash browns. Actually, me and the Twilights are going to save that for later, Sunset replied. She wants to save the best for last. Just for today, Human Twilight rolled her eyes smiling, and I'm sure other me wants to experience some of the festival's qualities. It is true, Princess Twilight taking a bite of a hot dog. Wildflower Blush felt disappointed that she won't get another chance to hang out with Princess Twilight like last year when they were on the beach. So when are we going to see you? Wildflower asked. Maybe tonight when Viral Scratch is performing her music on stage, Princess Twilight answered. Oh, tonight. That would easily make me happy. The Princess of Twilight found the tone from Wildflower really rough until sunset fills her in. Twilight, I think we need to consider giving your friends a chance. Princess Twilight remembered the message Sunset wrote to her about the whole memory stone situation. Last year on the beach, the only things she did with Wildflower was finding turtles on the beach and seeing her garden behind the high school. She had the best time with her, even with the amount of time she had, going to places and knowing everything that happened when she was gone. Okay, how about we do one activity before we split up, Princess Twilight offered. To be fair, it's going to be a long day for all of us. Sunset, other me. Just when Twilight was about to finish, Sunset placed her hand on the princess's thigh. I'm still going to wait to see PostCrush tonight, and so should you, she retorted until Human Twilight pulled her hand away from the princess. Just allow her to be with Wildflower and her friends. They will text us back. We're staying far away from PostCrush, okay? Sunset, despite most of her plans being changed, agrees since she wants to make her friends happy. Okay, she answered. Look at the bright side, Sunset. At least I'm enjoying my first time here, Princess Twilight wrapped her arm around Sunset. Except this isn't our first time here, Sunset said. You girls never hang out so much, Sunflower commented. Oh, you have no idea. From where Twilight lives in her world, you will understand like I have, Dobby replied. For the next 5 minutes, the 6 girls finished the breakfast and threw the plates and calorie in the garbage. Wildflower and her friends take the Princess of Friendship to find PostCrush, while Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer go to a different place in the festival. While Princess Twilight is excited to see talented bands, she doesn't understand that other bands aren't the same when it comes to bad attitudes. A girl from a band of 3 girls is buying a taco from a stand. Here's your money, your tacos are the best, she cheered as she takes her taco from the seller. You say that every time you buy a taco from my stand, Santia Dusk. Will you please let it go? The seller rolled her eyes, but instead Santia walked away while eating her taco. Just like every time. When Santia sits down and is about to eat her taco, she looked around with the amount of people. Adagio and Aria is going to love this. So many people are going to watch us perform, she grinned with confidence. Just when she's about to take a bite of her taco, she saw a girl with purple hair with the same outfit she wore during the Battle of the Bands a few years ago. She dropped her taco on her plate in disbelief, and when the girl turned around, it was Twilight Sparkle. While the princess didn't recognize one of her rivals, Santia definitely recognized her. Big time. As Wildflower continued to take Twilight, Santia immediately took out her phone and begins texting Adagio. Adagio and Aria is going to hate this, Santia said in frustration. Musical Glimmers. Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, and Rainbow Dash took Starlight Glimmer to one of the musical stages in the Starswirl Festival. Rainbow Dash made the choice to watch the bands in the morning, to which her friends agreed. They arrived while Dirt Thistleweed and his talented musicians are preparing their music. Trust me, Starlight, you are going to enjoy what this festival has to offer, Rainbow smiled as she and the others get into the crowd of fans. I wouldn't say you're wrong. Seeing so many posters since coming in at the entrance made this more interesting, Starlight replied until Pinkie Pie popped up from behind. Interesting? Don't you mean awesome and exciting? Pinkie cheered. Yeah, kind of, Starlight backing away from Pinkie's compliment, but it won't hurt to give them a chance. I'm sure you're going to love the bands in the Starswirl Festival. Just wait until what's in store tonight, Fluttershy added while placing her hands behind her back. For the next 5 minutes, Dirt Thistleweed and his 2 members are holding their instruments and begin the performance. As the song begins to glow, the crowd starts to cheer from the vocals and instrumentals. Starlight's attention continues to procure her interest, from Dot's guitar playing skills and his amazing voice on the microphone, not to mention Dakota's instrumentals from a violin and Violet with her instrument. As his band continues, it gets better and better. Starlight may see ponies do music back in her world, but they never did so many unique ways. But at her time, when she met Sunset Shimmer, she found her hands creepy that with the fact she doesn't have hooves anymore. She forgot most of the things of what her body can do after the times she left Sunset's world, which gave her an idea. After Dot Thizzleweed and his group are finished to go for a 10-minute break, they decide to come down to the crowd to give them their autographs in the time being. Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash are screaming from the performance while Fluttershy and Starlight sits on the ground together. "Hey, aren't you going to meet Dot?" Fluttershy asked while placing her hand on Starlight's shoulder. "I would, but they said they're going to have another 10-minute break after they're done with 3 songs. Besides, the fans deserve autographs since they've known them for so long." Starlight looking at Dot's band getting surrounded by his fans. "I'm curious, do you want something from Dot?" "Yes." "What is it?" Starlight took a deep breath while trying to avoid the possibility of getting banned from the festival. "I was going to ask Dot of how he's good at playing his guitar, but..." She stopped herself while her friend is still listening. "But what?" Fluttershy responded. Starlight continued to keep her words to herself until she saw 3 people walking up to her. When she looked up, she saw Dot, Dakota, and Violet staring at her. "Can I help you?" Dot asked. "Yeah, you seem really depressed," Dakota asked. "Did you enjoy a performance?" Violet added. This made Sunset blush in embarrassment. "Yes, I did." She stands up. "All of you are really good at your instruments." While Dot in his memos found the excitement from Starlight respectful, that didn't stop them from watching Starlight sitting on the grass seconds ago. "Do you have a question?" Dakota wondered. "No, besides if I told you what my question is, you would hear that from one of your fans." "Come on, it doesn't bother us," Violet replied. Starlight sighed again as Dot and his memos are still waiting for her question. With most of the fans, including her friends, putting their attention on her, Starlight had no other option. "Okay, how is it possible that you're great at playing instruments with your hands and not..." She blushed even harder. "With hooves." This made Dot and his memos give a confused look. They never heard anyone in their fanbase to say a question so bizarre. "You mean like pony or horse hooves?" Dot guessed. "Yes, but mainly pony hooves." Starlight staying on topic. "I never played an instrument in my life that involves using your hands." She showed her hands to Dot in his band memos. Meanwhile, Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie, who's behind the band, are giving awkward looks after they heard their friend's question to Dot's band. "She's definitely embarrassed herself," Rainbow Dash placing her hands on her face. "Not to mention pony embarrassed," Pinkie added. However, nothing bad happened to Starlight whatsoever. Instead, Dot Thizzleweed grabbed both of Starlight's arms so he can look at them closely. Starlight Glimmer blushed even more at the fact that one of the most famous singers of the Starswirl Festival is looking at her hands. Even Fluttershy is surprised and has nothing to help in this moment. After Dot looked at Starlight's hands, she looked into Starlight's eyes. "Do you and your friends want to come with us backstage?" This made Starlight, her friends, and the crowd gasp in shock. "Seriously?" Rainbow reacted. "Why do you want us?" Starlight blinked. "I have a spare guitar in one of my tents. I can teach you how to play the guitar with your hands. Besides, anyone who watches our band after all these years who wants to be like us should get some lessons." Starlight had no idea whatsoever in the offer she just received. To think she almost embarrassed herself or got herself banned, she along with her friends gets an opportunity to go backstage to one of the most famous bands. Starlight saw Rainbow and Pinkie pleading her to say yes to Dot's band from behind. Not willing to disappoint her friends, Starlight made her decision. Yes, she replied. Good choice. I will take you back there after we're done with our performances, Dot replied as he headed back to the stage. We're going to be looking forward to what you have in musical talent, Dakota patting on Starlight's shoulder. And remember, if you don't succeed, at least you gave music a chance, Velvet shaking Starlight's hand. The two girls also returned back on stage while Starlight's friends gave her a group hug. That was awesome, Rainbow jumping in joy. We're going to be in backstage with Dot's band later, Pinkie smiled. Girls, you need to understand that Dot is going to teach Starlight how to use a guitar, Flasheye chimed in. Oh right, Rainbow backed away, almost getting ahead of herself. Girls, I still have a problem. I don't know how to use my hands, Starlight reacted. Then Pinkie gets an idea before Dot takes them backstage. Wait, I can show you how to hold a guitar. Pinkie takes out a wooden guitar from her pocket and gives it to Starlight. I'll make sure you can use your fingers. She takes Starlight away from the stage as she teaches her how to hold a guitar. Flasheye, please tell me we're not going to get banned if Starlight ruins Dot's guitar, Rainbow biting her lip in stress. You should at least respect her for allowing this to happen. She didn't know what would happen, Flasheye giving a frown to a friend. We can hope she's an amateur? Please don't push your luck. Sparkle surprise. Wildflower Blush along with her friends take Princess Twilight to the backstage lounge while most of the bands and fans get a beverage while relaxing. Are you sure PostCrush is here? The Princess of Friendship asked. I'm sure. Usually PostCrush spend their time here wherever they take a break, Snowflower replied. We haven't seen them in 10 minutes, Dobby added. Well, it's the only option to find PostCrush in the festival, Wildflower finished. The four girls looked at each other before they entered the lounge itself. While it didn't take them the whole day to find where the famous band is located, it doesn't change the fact that they might not be in the lounge. In order to find out, Twilight along with her friends entered the lounge. Then Santia Dux along with Aria Blaze rushed up on the stage and saw Twilight from behind. Oh great, she's back! Aria clenching her fist in rage until Santia covered her mouth. Shh! Don't let her see us, Santia replied. We don't want her to see us. Aria tried to calm herself despite the fact one of her rivals ruined her life years ago. Then what are we going to do? Aria retorted. Then a sound came from Aria and Santia's phone. When they looked at their phones, they got a tweet from Adagio to head back to the truck immediately. They decided to make their way since they all know the leader always has a plan whenever something is coming in their way. Meanwhile, Twilight and the others entered the backstage lounge and they saw PostCrush sitting in one of the seats by the tables. While Kiwi Lollipop is taking a drink while listening to one of her songs from her phone, Supernova Zap is taking care of her dog she calls Princess Thunderguts. She's here, Dobby pointed. Well, that didn't take as long as I thought, Twilight smiled. What are you going to say to them? Wildflower asked. Not sure. I know Sunset Shimmer is going to be shaking once she finds out about my encounter, but I don't know what to ask them. If they came to the beach last year, I would feel the same way. Just when Twilight is about to think about her choice, Snowflower placed her hand on the princess's shoulder. Just say it's a pleasure to meet you. It's not that hard to give them your introduction. This immediately gave Twilight the understanding of her next move. She did get Sunset's message of what happened with the time loop situation, but it still didn't give her the interest in PostCrush. However, when she remembered when her friends told her about who's here for the weekend, the only way to get the interest into others in this world is to see their impression for the first time. The Princess of Friendship took her steps while her friends from behind followed her. She stands in front of PostCrush as she makes her first impression. Excuse me, Twilight spoke, which caught the attention from Supernova Zap. She poked on Kiwi, which causes her to take off her earmuffs. When the two members of PostCrush put their attention on Twilight in silence, Twilight made her first move. One of my friends told me about you and I was interested. She's a huge fan, and she told me I was going to love your band once you perform. Kiwi and Supernova looked at each other after hearing Twilight. Who's your friend? Kiwi asked. Sunset Shimmer, Twilight answered. Then another silence came from PostCrush when they heard the name Sunset Shimmer. In their last reunion, they remembered she and P.Y.B.B was the reason why they made the choice to do another reunion after they helped them. They stand up and look closely to Twilight's eyes, which causes the princess to feel uncomfortable. Are you one of her friends? Supernova asked, which made Twilight nod. But you're not wearing glasses, Kiwi added. This is not looking good, Wildflower whispered to her friends. Sunset's not going to like this, Dopey whispered back. Twilight just put herself in the predicament she's been through last year back on the beach. She didn't want to make the same mistakes that happened in Crystal Pep when she encountered Principal Cinch. Okay, the thing is, I'm a counterpart from Equestria who's a princess, and the Twilight you saw before lives in this world. She lowered her tone to make sure no one in the lounge can't hear her. I just want my friends to feel a whole lot better when I meet bands like you. I never met you girls yet. After the princess finished her honesty, this made PostCrush laugh, which surprises Twilight and her friends. Why are you two laughing? Snowflower wondered. Don't be concerned, we understand what is going on, Kiwi said. What do you mean? Twilight asked. Sunset told us everything about not being perfect, while also something about Equestrian magic, Supernova recalled. Equestrian magic? Wildflower blinked. We have something she called the Time Twirl that allows us to do a time warp. Princess Twilight couldn't believe that PostCrush, the band Sunset is talking about, caused the whole time loop situation. Even if she's aware of it, it was hard for her to process that a band found something that came from Equestria. But then, when she realized that the Memory Stone and the Storm King's magic came into Sunset's world from different places, she can only think if another group or person will do the same thing in the future. PostCrush, Princess Twilight responded. I understand where you're coming from, but my friend went through 3 long weeks because of you. Granted, you gave her chances to see you perform, but still. While PostCrush are stunned from what they're hearing, Wildflower and her friends let the princess do the talking. While what you did isn't as bad as what Sunset experienced, perfection takes so much time and effort. Yes, I know I didn't see you perform yet, but when I was part of Sunset's band years ago, we had so many problems. Wait, Sunset and her friend P.Y.B.B has a band of their own? Kiwi asked. Yes, I may never got cut up from their band since I left, but I'm sure they went through so many stops to make their band perfect. When I see you two, you're desperate for protection to make your comeback. An actual comeback for your whole reunion. When Twilight finally stopped herself, Kiwi and Supernova didn't expect Twilight, who's not the same Twilight they saw from before, giving them a lesson about bands, not to mention they're talking to a princess. Twilight, thanks for being kind. You have no idea how we felt before Sunset went through everything we put her through. Supernova placing her dog on the chair. Also, it's a pleasure to meet you in person. If we meet someone who lives in a different world, we will respect them nonetheless, Kiwi added. I'm curious, are you going to watch us tonight? Yes, it's something Sunset wants me to do when she gave me this backstage pass. The princess showing off her pass around her neck. Don't worry, perfection isn't what I'm expecting. Well, that's a relief. Trust me, you're going to enjoy it, especially when we're going to perform again tomorrow, Supernova added. Twilight received a hug from PostCrush, while her friends from behind are happy to see the princess friend make more friends like before. After the princess broke the hug, she turned around to her friends. Wildflower, can you go text Sunset now? I want to find her. I want you to spend your time with PostCrush. The princess closing her eyes with a smile on her face. That's fine by us, Wildflower taking out her phone. When Sunset responds back, I'll take you. I know where to go in this place, Snowflower offered. As Twilight and her friends take a seat in the lounge by the band PostCrush, Wildflower texts Sunset, that one of her friends are going to send Twilight to her as soon as possible. B.Y.B.B. Makeover, ARV style. After Sunset texted back while she's staying in the Starswirl Festival along with Human Twilight, Snowflower took Princess Twilight to one of the tents for people to relax in. Sunset and Human Twilight are sitting together on the ground by a really small table. When Snowflower found her destination, she waved goodbye to the princess as she heads back to Wallflower and Dobby. Twilight, both Sunset and Human Twilight staying up from the ground. Did you talk to PostCrush? Human Twilight asked. Yes, I did, Princess Twilight answered. Please tell me they know they're going to see you in the crowd, Sunset holding her excitement in herself. Yes, and by the way, they know about the whole Twilight and other Twilight situation, so we're fine. Sunset and Human Twilight signed in relief that they're still out of the whole misunderstanding they've kept for so long. While they're happy the secret hasn't gone out in the open, they still need to keep it to themselves. So where do you want to go? I have no idea, Sunset replied. There are so many stands in this festival, it would take me ages to pick a stand. The Twilights and Sunset looked in their surroundings with the amount of stands available. Even for the Princess of Friendship, she won't be able to experience all the qualities of the Starswirl Festival. Reunions is one thing, but she wanted more involving music. Music she never witnessed after she left Canterlot High after the Battle of the Bands. Wait, Human Twilight coming up with an idea. Michael Trips is going to do his Make Dex Fix performance on stage. You gotta watch that. You mean one of your friends in science class? The princess asked. Yes, I'm sure you saw him before I transferred to Canterlot High. Oh, I saw him when he helped in the school play in selling caramel apples in Equestria land, Sunset remembered. I'm sure you might recognize him. Princess Twilight didn't know what to expect from the offer her friends are giving her, but her plans are few and far between. Then again, she's easier at making friends no matter if she didn't talk to the person yet. Okay, we can go to Michael Chip's Make Dex Fix performance, whatever Make Dex Fix means, the princess made her decision. So can you take me where he is? Sure, but his performance isn't going to start for the next hour and a half, Human Twilight said. Just when Sunset and Princess Twilight is about to head to their next destination, they're now back to rethinking their next activity in the festival. Meanwhile, Applejack and Rarity are spending time together as the third group splitting up this morning. 30 minutes ago, they encountered their friend in Rarity's boss from Equestria, Vignette Valencia. Even since the aftermath of the parade, she's been really respectful to her friends she's been making and made big changes in Equestria land after hearing the criticism she caused. Just when they were about to do more activities, they saw the Twilights and Sunsets shimmer in the distance. As for Vignette Valencia, her eyes didn't lie when she saw 2 Twilights instead of 1. Her jaw dropped to see a much prettier Twilight than the other with the glasses. Girls, Rarity and Applejack watching up to Sunset and the Twilights. Applejack, Rarity, I haven't seen you this morning, the princess giving Applejack a hug. Well, we don't have all the time in the festival, darlings, Rarity moving her hair out of her view. Guess that explains why they're in a group of 2, Sunset crossing her arms smiling. Always, Human Twilight rolling her eyes. When the princess is still hugging her cowgirl friend, she notes a girl with 2 mistletoes attached in her hair. From the way she's looking at her made her confused. Out of all the people she missed when she was gone, no one, not even Sunset Shimmer, told her about Rarity's boss until last night. Applejack, Princess Twilight breaking the hug while also pointing at Vignette. Who's that? That's Vignette Valencia, Rarity's boss, Applejack answered. She's still staring at me. When the girls put their attention on Vignette, they notice she's not moving a muscle. Rarity, out of all the people who know Vignette personally, can see what is going on. In order to keep Princess Twilight out of total exposure, she decides to fill in for her boss. Vignette, Rarity wrapping her arm around the princess's shoulder. This is Twilight Sparkle, the princess of friendship. Princess Twilight looked at Rarity in confusion after she told her boss that she's a princess. Then a sudden squeal came from Vignette as she rushes up to the rain booms. "Oh my gosh," she squealed again while her eyes are glued to Princess Twilight. "You look perfect, just like a princess in a fabulous fairy tale movie." "Well, if you put it that way, you're right," Princess Twilight making an awkward giggle. "It's nice to meet you." She lifted her hand up for a handshake, but due to Vignette's high interest, she gave the princess of friendship a hug. "Come on, how about a selfie, princess?" Vignette took out her phone while she poses with Twilight by her side. She pressed the button on the phone, which causes a flash, taking a picture much to Twilight and her friend's surprise, while Rarity is making a smirk. Princess Twilight is blind from the flash from Vignette's phone. Once Rarity's boss let go of her, Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer stopped her from falling to the ground. "Rarity, what is going on?" she asked. "Sorry, darling," Rarity laughed. "My boss always feels this way when she meets a fabulous celebrity. But I'm not." Rarity covered Princess Twilight's mouth just when Vignette almost became suspicious. "Just go with it. Vignette isn't like the other people you meet." "She's not one, you know," Sunset whispered. Princess Twilight never had an encounter so weird and so unexpected. Even from last year, she knew one of the girls she met wouldn't do something like this. She walked up to Vignette and tried to be a bit serious with her. "Vignette, I know you're really into me, but me and my friends are going to Microchip's Dex in the next hour." Twilight tried to be nice. "Oh, don't mention it," Vignette said in her sassy attitude. "Even celebrities like us need some time for ourselves." "Yeah, celebrities like us. Sort of." Applejack remained silent during the whole ordeal. After agreeing with her friend to spend some time with Vignette a few days after the parade, she is slowly getting used to it, but this isn't the first time she saw Rarity's boss doing this. "So, what are you three going to do?" Human Twilight wondered. "Not really, we're on the same boat," Rarity answered. "Looks like we're all on a stop here," Applejack added. "If only we had something to do right now," Princess Twilight lowered her head in disappointment. The 6 girls didn't know what to do next. Performances being prepared, so many options to choose from, and the fact it would take them forever to find their friends. Then Rarity remembered something she was going to do before she and the Rainbooms arrived. "Twilight," Rarity replied, which got the attention from the princess. "I was going to make an outfit for you, but when Sunset texted me when I was packing up, it was too late." Princess Twilight saw her friends and others in their festival outfits. "Rarity, I appreciate the offer, but there's not going to be a lot of time. Sorry for not being in the spirit of this festival." Then Vignette came up with an idea as she wraps her arm around Princess Twilight's shoulder. "Actually, there is time for that. I'm also a good fashion designer and a makeup artist. Don't worry, Rarity. I'll help you and still do it your way." Rarity agreed with Vignette that she's making the right choice. However, Rarity isn't going to leave because she's missing one person. She turned to Applejack while lifting her hand up. "And you're going to join us," Rarity smirked. "I'm sure Twilight needs more help with a country-talented cowgirl like you." "It's true, since you gave me lessons in fashion clothing." Applejack rolled her eyes, smiling. The cowgirl, the fashionista, and the boss take the Princess of Friendship to the girls' bathroom to give her a full makeover in their combined styles. Princess Twilight felt off with the idea of getting in an outfit and a makeover from the Rainbooms, and especially Vignette. With so little time she has, she can only hope her friends get her done before Microchip's performance happens. "Is it me, or does Rarity has a fashion supply emoji kit with her?" Human Twilight asked. "Pretty much, she always has a mobile hobby. Typical Rarity." Sunset smiled as she crossed her arms. Sunset Shimmer and Human Twilight are waiting outside of the girls' restroom while Rarity and her friends are helping Princess Twilight with her outfit and makeup. It's been an hour and Microchip's Dex performance is going to happen in the next 15 minutes. "Rarity," Sunset opened the restroom until Rarity rushed to the door. "Hey, stay out, you're ruining the surprise!" Rarity pushed her away. "But we don't have much time left," Human Twilight retorted. "We're almost done," Applejack yelled. Vignette is putting the makeup on Twilight and she's almost finished. Royalty closed the door, leaving Sunset Shimmer and Human Twilight waiting again. After another minute has passed, Royalty, Applejack, and Vignette came out of the restroom while Princess Twilight is waiting inside after what her friends did. No friends, but don't tell us you put too much makeup on her, Sunset biting her lip until Vignette gets into her face. Hey, we all know the difference between too much and the proper amount, Vignette retorted until Royalty placed her hand on her boss's shoulder. A princess is not going to be embarrassed, Royalty replied. You'll see it yourself. Twilight, come out, Applejack called. As the three girls got out of the way, Princess Twilight opened the restroom door to expose herself. When she came out, Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer couldn't believe what they were seeing from their princess friend. Twilight is wearing a purple shine shirt with stars on the front and back. She has black gloves with a queuing mark behind the palms. Applejack was in charge of doing the skirt, as what Twilight is wearing a long golden but not sparkling skirt with pockets. Then finally is the makeup Vignette put on. Twilight has pink eyeshadow on her eyelids, just like Fluttershy and Royalty have. It's the only thing she has on because Vignette's version of the Princess of Friendship says that she doesn't need lipstick in a color. When she looked at her for the first time, she learns her decision making so much more than before. The eyeshadow she put on Twilight is one of the most expensive tools she used during her auditions as a famous actress. She kept the makeup to herself, since she never had any friends whatsoever. And to make things better, after the Princess of Friendship saw her reflection in the mirror, she approved of it. Oh my gosh, Human Twilight said with her eyes wide. You look like someone who could fit in like the rest of us in the festival, Sunset placing her hand on her hip, being impressed. Trust me, girls, even if it took us an hour, I'm like everyone here, Princess Twilight giggled as she turned to Royalty, Applejack, and Vignette. Thanks for helping me. I'll think of something to own you back. Take the time you need. We have today and tomorrow, Sugar Cube, Applejack replied. Just when the princess is about to leave, she didn't forget the third girl who put on her pink eyeshadow. Vignette, that includes you. I'm owing too. Thank you very much, Twilight. Vignette blinked with a smile. After all, that's how me, Royalty, and Applejack do it ARV style. ARV style, the girls responded. That stands for Applejack, Royalty, and Vignette B.Y.B.B teamwork. I decided to put Applejack in the front. She gave Applejack a wink, which made the cowgirl took notice. Well, looks like you two darlings are really getting along fast, Royalty smiled. This made Applejack blush while scratching on the back of her head. Well, shucks, my cheeks are turning into tomatoes. That's what I love to see from you, Royalty pitching on Applejack's cheek. The Twilights, Sunset, and Vignette are during yet another moment between Applejack and Royalty. Do these two become close to each other when I was gone? Princess Twilight asked. Pretty much. You missed one of the best friendships in recent times, too, Sunset replied. Come on, girls, we don't want to be late to see microchips, Human Twilight grabbing both Sunset and the princess counterpart's arm to get to their destination. They've waved goodbye to Applejack, Royalty, and Vignette as they go to a different place in the Starswirl Festival. Hidden in the grassy hedge maze, Starlight Glimmer along her friends continue to enjoy the Starswirl Festival. Rainbow Dash was really happy that she got the chance to hang out with Dirt Thizzleweed, even if it wasn't Starlight's intentions. Girls, I did what I could to use my hands on an instrument. I didn't mean to annoy your favorite band, Starlight looking at her hands in disappointment. Don't feel that way, Fluttershy replied. At least Dirt and his band didn't ban us from the festival. Rainbow Dash didn't speak in the words since she refused to overwhelm the princess's friend. After the last hour, she decides to have Pinkie Pie or Fluttershy show Starlight more of the festival's activities. So, what do you want to do next? Pinkie wrapping her arm around Starlight. I don't really know. Should we find where Twilight and the others are at? Rainbow and Flashlight mostly agree with Starlight, but Pinkie Pie has so many ideas she and her friends can do together. How about we play a game, then we can go get some ice cream? Sure, what game do you want to play? Pinkie Pie grabs Starlight's arm as she pulls her to where she wants to play. Rainbow Dash and Flashlight catch up Pinkie Pie from behind. When Pinkie and Starlight went past so many people in stands, they've stopped while Pinkie pointed at the hedge maze. Hide and seek in the hedge maze. Starlight and the others looked at the hedge maze. Like the last Starswirl Festival not long ago, the maze itself remained the same as it is, but anyone who hasn't stepped inside the maze would get lost. Hey, that's the same maze Sunset went to, Rainbow smiled. It doesn't look too big, Starlight said as she saw two entrances from the left and right. Sure, we can play hide and seek. You can go high in the maze and I'll count to 20 to find you. She's about to offer Flashlight and Rainbow Dash to join, but when she turns around, they immediately fill her in. Sorry, Starlight, Flashlight placing her hands behind her back. I have to use the bathroom. So do I. I drank a soda this morning and it travels so fast, Rainbow added. It's okay, girls, Pinkie Pie cheered. By the time y'all get back, it'll be Starlight's turn to hide. After Flashlight and Rainbow Dash made their way to the restrooms, Pinkie Pie shows Starlight the map of the hedge maze in the higher view so she can see where she's going. Then Aria popped her head behind the trees with her leader by her side. She thought the Princess of Friendship or Sunset Shimmer is hanging out by the maze, but as it turns out, she was wrong. It's that pink doofus again, Aria whispered. Wait a minute, Adagio staring at the purple girl. Why does that girl seem familiar? What's your point? Adagio and Aria reportedly looked at each other until they turned their attention back to Pinkie and her friend. Okay, in case you can't see in the dark, here's a flashlight. Pinkie Pie lifting out a flashlight from her pocket. Pinkie, why would I need a flashlight? Those lights in the maze, Starlight pointing at one of the entrances. Come on, think of being in a dark tunnel while trying to save your best friend from getting lost forever. That's what happened to one of the characters in the Dylan Do movies. Starlight did watch the premiere of the Dylan Do movies and remembered the scene where Dylan Do's friends are being rescued in the dark, with Dylan Do holding a torch of fire in her hand. Okay, but I'm not like Dylan Do, Starlight giggled. When her friend handed her the flashlight, she tries to hold on, but she ended up dropping it due to her hand disabilities, which actually took Aria and Adagio's attention without blinking. She's just like the princess, Aria commented. Adagio had no words at all with only a smirk of confidence on her face. Well, even without our magic, we can still take some of the advantage. Starlight covered her eyes and counts to 20 while Pinkie Pie heads to the hedge maze. 20, 19, 18, let's get inside the maze, Adagio forcing Aria. Now! 13, 12, 11, 10. As Starlight is halfway down counting, Adagio and Aria rush their way into the left entrance of the maze to put the new plan in motion. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Starlight finished her counting and uncovered her eyes. She enters the right entrance of the maze and turns on her flashlight. She couldn't believe how amazing the inside of the hedge looks with the lights decorated on the top and sides. While the maze itself is small, the effort inside explains everything. Starlight Glimmer went to every direction in the hedge to find Pinkie Pie, but it became much more challenging. When she went to 3 of the 4 open spots in the maze, Pinkie was nowhere to be found. Jeez, Pinkie knows how to hide. After going through a lot of spots and hedgeways of the maze, Starlight arrived to the last open spot, but unfortunately, she didn't find her. In the lower right open spot, there's a photo booth for anyone or with their friends to take 4 pictures. Inside, both Adagio and Aria are inside, spying on Twilight's friend. Luckily for them, none of their friends are anywhere to be seen, which gives them more of an opportunity to follow their plan. They left the photo booth as they placed their hands on their hips. Hello, Adagio spoke for her attention. Starlight Glimmer turned around as she saw 2 girls she hasn't met in her life, not to mention that Wackhoof didn't specifically tell Starlight the enemies he faced during his past. Oh, hello, Starlight waved, which made Adagio laugh. I'm Starlight Glimmer. I'm Adagio Dazzle, and this is Aria Blaze. We're the Dazzlings, Aria introduced herself. We're a band of 3 girls just to show off our musical vocal cords. Really? Starlight responded. Who's the other 3rd member in your band? Santi at dusk. Both Aria and Adagio looked at each other. Let's just say she's the less smart of the group. Not to mention she has an appetite of tacos. Adagio rolled her eyes while also crossing her arms. Starlight Glimmer couldn't believe that her friends didn't show her this band in the festival yet. The outfits the Dazzlings are wearing look promising, not to mention the looks make them feel like a band. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you two. She lifted her hand for a handshake, to which Adagio shook it. Are you performing your band tonight? As a matter of fact, we are until sunset, Adagio replied. Same goes to tomorrow, Aria added. Are you willing to watch us perform? Of course. What songs are you going to sing? Starlight asked. This made Adagio and Aria flinched a bit. Since the first day they became one of the bands in the Starswirl Festival, they had limited songs in their new lives. Actually, we only have 1 song. We're still trying to think of more in the meantime, Adagio said while breaking the handshake. This made Starlight slightly disappointed that the Dazzlings can only sing 1 song for later. Well, your band must be new, right? You can say that. For the most part, we've been a band before we came to this festival, Aria glaring. We do have other songs, but the festival won't accept our old ideas. Adagio signed. Man, you have old songs and you have no other choice but to make new songs just so you can be part of this festival? Starlight asked. That's just how the business works. Out of all the bands Starlight's friends have been talking about, the Dazzlings feel like the least popular in the festival. Starlight felt depressed to see Adagio and Aria's group being swallowed in the predicament they're still in. Wait, I got an idea, Starlight shouted, which surprises the Dazzlings. My friends are also in the band. Do you want me to have them watch your performance? Aria is furious as her nerves have been pinched yet again until Adagio held her arm with her elbow. Sure, besides it would be delightful to meet your friends in person. Wait, you would actually do that? Yes, Aria rubbing her arm. We're going to be performing at the other side of the festival. Don't be late, believe me. We are watching while performing, Adagio smirking while placing her hands on her hips again. She and Aria left the open spot as they make their way to the RV until Adagio stopped when she entered the maze. And one more thing, keep our band a secret from your friends. You don't want to spoil the surprise to your closest friends, right? Oh, I will. Good call, Starlight smiled. Adagio leaves as Starlight has something that will make her friends really excited, or at least surprised. Then Rainbow and Flashlight entered the open spot after they both went to the bathroom. Hey Starlight, Flashlight replied. We're back, Rainbow added. Girls, there's a band performing at sunset. You are going to enjoy them, Starlight reacted in happiness. Really? Who are they? Flashlight wondered. I'm not going to tell you. It's a surprise. A surprise, huh? I like surprises, Rainbow grinned. With 2 of her friends knowing what they're going to do later, it's only a matter of time to get Twilight and the others to know what's coming in their way. Wait, did you find where Pinkie is hiding? Flashlight asked. This caused Starlight to remember the game she's playing with Pinkie. Oh, I almost forgot. She wasted a little time as she rushed back to the hedgeways. I couldn't find where Pinkie is hiding. She made her way to the left side of the maze with Rainbow and Flashlight following from behind. Did you look in every spot? Rainbow recalled. Yes, it shouldn't be this hard to find where she... Then Pinkie Pie popped her head out of the bush from the top. Here's Bushy Pie. This caused Starlight to collapse on her back from the jump scare. Pinkie! What? I wanted to make this game interesting. Is hiding in the bushes is considered cheating? Rainbow asked. And scaring your friends? Flashlight added. Come on, one of you would do the same thing during our time in middle school, Pinkie gained out from the top of the hedgeway. I'm pretty sure anyone in middle school would still play plain old hide and seek, Starlight retorted while getting back on her feet. The long and bizarre time coming. Sunset and Human Twilight take the Princess of Friendship to where Microchips is performing. There's about 5 stages in the whole festival separating from each other. With the amount of bands and solo players available, everyone who has their musical talent deserves their time to shine on stage. The girls arrive with people waiting to see the Meg Dex fix to happen. They saw Microchips setting up his helmet that he's going to be wearing soon. You know, I really think Microchips looks really unique, Princess Twilight commented while looking at Microchips. What? Is it because he's interested in technology like I do? Human Twilight asked. It's not that, it's just surprising to see one of your classmates performing music. It's really bizarre. This made both Sunset and Human Twilight look at the princess, blinking with dumbfounded looks. Bizarre? Why do you think that? Sunset replied. This caused the princess to blush in embarrassment. It's not what you think, I just never understood music in this festival before. Human Twilight remembered the time her counterpart performed magic spells over Sirens. While she was mad, it took her time to understand her princess friend lives in a world where there's not a lot of advanced equipment whatsoever. Twilight, unlike your world, there are so many alternatives when it comes to music, Human Twilight taking it normally. When you were gone, Sunset and her friends showed me so many genres of music since they have different tastes. For Microchips, he picked Meg Dex Fix because he probably grew up with that kind of music. When Sunset can see what her friend is talking about, she decides to chime in. She does make a point. She placed her hand on Princess Twilight's shoulder. For me, I do have taste when it comes to music genres. I suggest you should talk to Microchips on what he feels. Princess Twilight took the advice from her friend slowly so she can process. Microchips is one of the people she hasn't met personally when she was away for so long. If she did met him last year on the beach or back on the cruise, she might keep up on the societies of what this world contracted. She makes her way to Microchips, who just finished working on his helmet. Excuse me, she called, which caught Microchips' attention. When he looked at her, he's not really surprised to see 2 Twilight counterparts. Hey, aren't you Twilight's princess friend from the cruise? He asked. Princess Twilight made an awkward smile while her friends are behind her. Yes, I assume you were on the cruise months ago, right? Of course I was. Microchips gained off the stage to meet the girls face to face. Didn't actually expect you to be around. Speaking of keeping up, your classmate is on the same road like your friend. Sunset crossing her arms while raising her eyebrows, smiling. Why am I not surprised? Human Twilight smiling as well. Princess Twilight didn't know what to say next since Microchips did remember what happened at the last 2 cruise vacations, although she still has a question for him. Okay, I am curious, she spoke in a respectful tone. My friends told me that you're doing your Meg Dex Fix performance. Yeah, Microchips responded. What do you feel about that? Microchips never expected a question like that, especially from a princess and not his classmate from science class. What do I feel? I feel more appreciated. Ever since I've heard of it, I did so many modifications on the helmet. The employees will pay me to not only work on my helmet, but also allow me to perform since they need a Meg Dex Fix player. Princess Twilight became speechless with the idea of Microchips becoming a solo instrumental player. Not for long, her human counterpart walked up by her side. Yeah, I didn't believe it either, she replied. So you're here to watch me perform? It was your classmate's offer she gave to us. Besides, after you helped me during the school play last year, I think it's fair to give you a chance, Sunset smiled. Twilight's classmate never felt this happy to have one of her friends to watch him perform. Thanks, girls. You have no idea how much this means to me. Trust us. That's what friendship needs, Human Twilight giggled. Before Microchips gets on stage, he has something to say to the Princess of Friendship. By the way, maybe sometime tomorrow, can we do something together? Like what? Princess Twilight blinked. Like showing you what I designed. I bought some equipment just in case something bad happens. In case something bad happens? You know, in case of one of the bands or solo artists gets into a serious situation that they need help. Sunset and Human Twilight didn't know what to expect from one of their classmates. While they did went through a time loop thanks to PostCrush, they didn't know anyone like Microchips to keep the festival's schedule undamaged. which actually impressed Princess Twilight. You mean like checking everywhere? That's what I do back in Equestria, she commented. Is that what you do as a princess? Microchips asked. Actually, it was before that. Please don't let me explain what I do. Aria and the others did that when they came over. Okay, Sunset breaking the conversation. I think for the sake of our time, we should not cause another misunderstanding in Equestria, if you know what I'm talking about. It's okay, I understand. Besides, I have to get on stage now. Microchips wasted little time as he made his way to the back while grabbing his helmet. Sunset turned to Princess Twilight with an unamused expression on her face. You know, you really need to keep your profile as a pony to yourself even if Microchip sneaked in Equestria. Sorry, I didn't know what to say, Princess Twilight scratched on the back of her head. Then again, Microchips is always interested to the stuff he knows aren't unlimited, Human Twilight added. At least you're going to know him more tomorrow. Nothing is going to ruin our day. Princess Twilight would take those as compliments, but at the same time, she doesn't have a schedule for herself and she's doing everything she can to keep her counterpart occupied. For the next 2 minutes, Microchips went on stage with his Dex Fix helmet on, with tens of people watching him. He wasted little time as he waves his arms with sounds coming out from the speakers. His helmet showed sound beats, which made his fans really excited. As for Princess Twilight, she was more than impressed. For this being the first time she's listening to music in the Starswirl Festival, she really adores it for what kind of genre that's coming out in the open. Even if it's nothing but instrumental, she can't wait what PostCrush has to deliver tonight, and so does the other bands. Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer are banging their heads at the beat of Microchip's music, and soon Princess Twilight is slowly doing the same. Meanwhile, 3 grown adults arrive to join in on the Dex Fix performance. Just before they bang their heads at the beat of the music, they saw Twilight and Sunset in the crowd. Hey Celestia and Yuna, our students are over there, Cranky Doodle pointed at the 2 girls. Well, what do you know, even our beloved students are enjoying in on the fun, Yuna smiled. Right, sister? Her sister didn't make a response whatsoever because what she's seen that's in the middle of Twilight and Sunset, her eyes don't lie. She saw another Twilight she remembered a long time ago before she transferred Twilight to Canterlot. At first, she thought that Twilight was a twin sister, but ever since then, she never saw or heard of her. She was going to be serious, but today, she had a great time with her sister and Cranky Doodle. And a long time coming isn't always bad in her book. Sister, Yuna spoke again. Celestia didn't respond again as he makes her way to the Twilights and Sunset from behind. She slowly walked up to the Princess of Friendship as she placed both of her hands on her head. Huh? Princess Twilight opened her eyes when someone stopped her from enjoying the music. Twilight sparkled. Celestia smiled. It's been a long time, right? Then Human Twilight and Sunset saw what's going on as they stopped dancing. They completely forgot that the princess friend didn't talk to the principals after she left Canterlot High a while back. Princess Twilight became even more surprised since she remembered that Celestia and Yuna also has their other selves in this world. She turned around and saw Principal Celestia, who giggled from her reaction. You miss me? Princess Twilight paused that she and her counterpart are in front of her daughter, who's too smart to be fooled. I can't believe this is happening, Sunset frowned. What, are you two looking at a ghost? Yuna giggled. No, but I didn't think you would be at this next Starswirl Festival, Human Twilight making an awkward smile. Hey, adults like us deserve to have some freedom from work, Cranky retorted. Principal Celestia is still smiling while Princess Twilight is speechless. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. It's just a relief that I finally met you after all this time. Yeah, I remember you gave me my crown during the fall formal, Princess Twilight replied. And that was the last time we met until I had headed home. It didn't bother me. I can't remember all the students in Canterlot High. Okay, but you still recognize me after all this time? I thought you were Twilight's twin sister. This not only made Princess Twilight but also Human Twilight blushed with the idea of being twins since they're more than similar. You don't say, Sunset grinned. If I become a new student in Canterlot and I saw 2 Twilights, I would think of the same thing. Uh-huh, both Human and Princess Twilight spoke with their faces turning red. This made Celestia, Yuna, and Cranky adore the reaction from the Twilights. Well, if you really live in the neighborhood, it would be adorable to see what you two do together. This caused the Twilights to smile while still blushing like crazy. Can we please skip that topic? Human Twilight screamed a little. Yeah, Princess Twilight added. Okay, chillax, Celestia said. We're only here just to enjoy the music, and I can tell you want to enjoy yourselves as well. But I want a favor from you, she pointed at the Princess of Friendship. What is it? Sometime tomorrow, can we have a conversation on the hills? Trust me, I won't tell anyone about what's going on with you. Except us, Yuna rolling her eyes. Princess Twilight didn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. First, Microchips wants to hang out with her, and now Principal Celestia wants to talk to her. She's relieved her profile in this world isn't going viral, but now she has 2 things she has to do tomorrow. The pressure she's dealing with is beginning to increase, but at the same time, it's not too much. Celestia, Princess Twilight spoke as her blush goes away. If you're really curious, I will do everything in my knowledge to fill you in. You're right, it's been a long time since we talked to each other, and I assigned you as a student, Celestia guessed. Oh, I forgot about that, the princess reacted. Sunset doesn't want Princess Twilight to go through more pressure as she steps in. I think maybe you should give us more space. She needs to think about your conversation for the next 24 hours. No problem, enjoy the festival. Principal Celestia smiled as she, her sister, and Cranky Doodle went to the other side of the crowd to enjoy the Meg Dex Fix music. Are you feeling alright, Twilight? Human tried playing on her counterpart's back. Just a little, Princess Twilight with Twilight. I should have reminded Rarity and her friends to give me a hug at least. Friendship stand against the Siren's leader. After Princess Twilight and her friends left Microchip's musical performance, she ran into her friends with Starlight mentioning about a band is going to be performing in the next hour. During the time being, they took a snack break as the sun begins to set over the hills. Starlight Glimmer is eager to make her friends really excited to listen to a band she told to keep a secret, or at least surprised. Starlight is leading the whole Rainbooms to the other side of the festival while she's holding the map to get to her destination. Starlight, Applejack said, I understand this is supposed to be a surprise, but can you give us hints on what band we're going to see? You might spoil it. Besides, they would want me to keep it a secret, Starlight replied. But can you at least give us a small hint, Rarity added. Girls, you should at least respect the fact that Starlight isn't good at making surprises, Starlight recalled. She's Twilight's student back at Equestria. You're right, Princess Twilight chimed in. It's been years and I'm sure Starlight knows what she's doing. Starlight and her friends arrive to another stage that's in front of a road. There's an RV parked and that's where the band is putting on their makeup. Like every other stage, there's tens of people waiting for them to perform their music. As for the Rainbooms, while they still didn't like that Starlight is keeping the band anonymous, they will still enjoy the performance nonetheless. After 5 more minutes, the spotlights turned on, which caused the crowd to cheer. This is going to be perfect, Starlight thought to herself. The music came out from the speakers. It was soft and quiet, which impresses the Rainbooms. Then the band came out from the bottom of the stage as it's revealed to be the Dazzlings. The Rainboom's eyes shot wide open in complete shock. Princess Twilight never forgot about the Sirens, even when she returned back to Equestria. Starlight, she whispered to her student, this is the band you talked to? Yes, isn't this great? No it's not, Rainbow retorted. These girls were our enemies, Fluttershy added. What? Starlight said with a confused look. Princess Twilight didn't know what to expect now that she encounters 3 girls she fought with in the past. Adagio, Santia, and Aria began singing their song, Find the Magic. While singing, they've noticed the Princess of Friendship is here along with her friends. Adagio made a grin with her manipulation on Starlight work. She notices that Princess Twilight is crossing her arms with a serious look, but that only made her more happy. As they continue to sing, Twilight isn't enjoying it. Even with the music being nice and calm, she knows for a fact that the Sirens can't sing after they lost their powers. Something's not right, she whispered again. What do you mean? Applejack asked. Out of all the girls, Sunset Shimmer isn't really surprised seeing the Dazzlings again. After 3 long weeks of being in a time loop, she thought Adagio was responsible, but she wasn't. Even after she stopped, she knew that the Dazzlings have moved on even if they never changed. She can only imagine that after she and her friends defeated them, they had to face the consequences of what they've done at Canterlot High. Sunset, Human Twilight whispered, "Are you feeling alright?" "Not much," Sunset answered back while feeling exhausted. The Dazzlings finished their song as tons of their fans except the Rainbooms are cheering in delight. "Thank you so much for all of your approval," Adagio smiled. "We will be back tomorrow to sing our song again. I know most of you are coming back because we can all agree that you're always here to adore us." She noticed that the Princess of Friendship shook her head, unamused, which doesn't even bother her at all since this is still part of her plan. Adagio and her band left the stage as the crowd of fans leave, having thoughts about coming back. However, the Rainbooms didn't move at all. They know something is up since they are the reason Starlight took them to their performance. "So, what are we going to do now?" Pinkie Pie wondered. "I'm going to talk to them," Princess Twilight placing her hands on her hips. "Seriously, darling?" Rarity reacted. "We can't just go behind that stage. There's a security guard behind there," Rainbow added. "Why do you want to talk to them?" Fluttershy added. The Princess of Friendship took a deep breath to calm herself down at least. "Starlight, you should have told us that the Sirens are here." "Okay, I'm sorry, but how am I supposed to know?" Starlight replied. "They're the ones Warcoof talked about." "Yes, but they say they were the Dazzlings." "Yeah, the band name," Applejack shouted. "Look, it's been a long time since we defeated them, and I know there's something wrong with our voices when they sing," the princess pointed at the stage. "So you're thinking that they're auto-tuned?" Pinkie wondered. Princess Twilight, despite having never heard of auto-tune in her life, might think it could be the reason. If you put it that way, they must be. Come on! She makes her way to the back along with her friends from behind. However, the only ones who didn't come along are Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer, which caught Princess Twilight's attention. "Sunset, Twilight," she stopped herself. "Aren't you coming along?" "No," Sunset responded. "I think it's better off that we should just leave the Sirens alone." "Excuse me?" Human Twilight decides to fill in for her best friend. "Twilight, I know I didn't meet these girls personally, but I'm not sure they're going to seek revenge on us." "You actually think that?" Sunset placed her hand on her face, still thinking this isn't a good idea. "Believe me, I'm sure they're just here just to get a job. At this point, I would rather let them do whatever they want, even if they're auto-tuned." The Princess of Friendship couldn't believe 2 of her friends decided to not be part of this. To think years after the battle, this was something she never expected her friends to do. "You don't understand. These girls can't be reformed. It happened to me back in Equestria. Queen Chrysalis is an example," Starlight added. "And if they find magic, they might go back to becoming monsters." Sunset and Human Twilight didn't know what to say since they never went through reform situations when their enemies strike back. Human Twilight didn't know that her counterpart went through the wrath of her enemies back in her world, but she's still unsure on what she's going to do with the Dazzlings. "Hey girls," Rainbow shouted to the girls' attention. "There's no security guards back here. The gate is even wide open." The Rainbooms made their way and noticed that Rainbow is right. The gate is always closed when the Dazzlings are performing, but now it's somehow open. "They really want to see us, do they?" Princess Twilight said. She wasted a little time and went through the open gate with the Rainbooms from behind. Sunset and Human Twilight had no other choice but to see what's really going on. The girls stopped as they saw the Dazzling small RV parked. Princess Twilight knows that they're inside the vehicle and she's not going anywhere. Most of the girls are either being impatient or not laying aside. since they manipulate the friend who's barely around in the world. Then the slide door from the RV is open, revealing Adagio, Santia, and Aria coming out. "So, you're back, Wayne Booms," she replied. "It's been a long time, Princess of Friendship." Princess Twilight didn't make a response since she's still giving the silence her disgust expression. "What's the matter? You didn't like our performance?" Aria asked with a sassy attitude. "What do you want?" Royalty retorted while moving her hair. "Shouldn't you be working on your careers?" Applejack added. "Actually, we only need your princess friend," Santia recalled as she walks up to Twilight, since she decides to come over to this world just to hang out with her friends. Alright, first of all, she's here because she wants to keep her other self occupied. Rainbow pointing her finger to Santia. Second of all, we're not here for another battle. You don't have your powers anymore. Adagio pushed the athletic girl with her hand. "We know! We just want to set things clear with your friend." She looked at the princess, who's still unflinched. "If you actually expect that I brought magic to this world, don't push your yacht. You don't deserve it," Princess Twilight said in her serious tone. "Also, I did not enjoy your performance even if your song was interesting." This again didn't make Adagio change her expression. "It's fine, I can care less about that." She noticed that Human Twilight and Sunset Shimmer are right behind the group, and I can tell your friends aren't liking your choice. This caused Aria to walk up to Twilight and Sunset, especially how your other friend can't handle her schedule without you. She leans to Twilight, which made Twilight took a few steps back. "Hey, don't thank me," Human Twilight raising her hands in front of her. "Please leave her alone," Sunset rolled her eyes, which made Aria turn to her immediately. "Please? That is what you expect us to do?" Aria taunted. "Just as I thought," Adagio replied. "Just like Sunset Shimmer, all of you girls never change. As far as I'm aware, your friend is so gullible to not see the real us." This made Starlight Glimmer place both of her hands in front of her, ashamed of herself for pulling her friends into this. Flashlight placed her hand on Starlight's shoulder, trying to cheer her up, but it wasn't enough. "You're wrong." Princess Twilight flinching both of her fists, which made the Dazzlings took notice. "You seriously think that friendship has considered us to not change at all?" "Oh please," Adagio moved her hair. "At least we have jobs to keep our lives going. Tell me, do you and your band auto-tune your voices?" This caused Adagio to lean her face closer to Twilight. "Oh, this is gonna turn ugly," Pinkie Pie commented. "Do you even know what auto-tune means?" Adagio being in her bad side. "No, I don't, but I know it involves something with our voices," Princess Twilight recalled. "Oh really? Tell us how bad our singing is." 80%. The leader of the band just shot her eyes open in shock, and so does the other girls. Sunset Shimmer was even surprised from her princess friend's way of being in her serious side. "What did you just say?" Adagio reacted in anger. "You heard me, 80%, the princess shouted back. "You really expect me to run away like a student in Canterlot High or be intimidated from you? Not a chance in Tartarus." Adagio became speechless from what she's witnessing from the Princess of Friendship. Aria and Santia didn't know what to expect from what's going on right now. The Rainbooms are taking a few steps back, avoiding another possible predicament. The fact you manipulate my students still didn't surprise me, because after watching you and your band sing on stage, I can tell there's no reason for you three to change. If any one of your fans see what you really sound like while singing, your careers will be short-lived. Unlike you, the Dazzlings, the Rainbooms don't need auto-tune because they can still sing without their own magic. Princess Twilight pointed at her friends until she pointed back at Adagio. The only thing you can do is have anyone be under your spell, go against each other while they adore you so you can be the only one standing. But let me tell you this, when you cause fights, eventually all of that will go against you. Against us? Adagio reacted. If you ever come back to Canterlot High, People won't consider giving you forgiveness even if you earned it. You have done terrible things to us. We would rather keep you away from our surroundings. When Starswirl, and you know what I'm referring to, forced you to stay in this world, it was because he knew you were unstable, and after we defeated you, you still remain the same as before. Well, let me tell you this. You don't get passes just because you're bad. Same goes to where you're at right now. You're becoming harmless teenage girls, and you need your voices auto-tuned just so you can at least get back to where you really need. You ignore being ignored, completely missing the whole picture. You're even lucky you didn't turn to stone, because that's the last thing all of us would do. And if your fans see your true colors, it's only a matter of time before you reach your end. A punishment you let yourselves get into is only going to come back no matter what. If you can't handle that, you deserve to be in stone and remain it until the end of time. After Princess Twilight took out everything she needed to say, everyone, even the Dazzlings, were impressed. The Princess of Friendship had enough from what's going on between her and the Rainbooms lately. She's not going to back down from anyone who interferes her weekend off. However, this made Adagio boil in rage, with both of her fists clenching. She had never been this furious in a long time, and the fact her plan failed makes it worse. "Aria, Santia, get back in the RV!" she shouted, which caused her sisters to head back. She still continues to stare at Twilight while slowly walking backwards. "You need to understand one thing, Twilight Sparkle." She stopped when she's just behind her band. "What goes around comes around even without our magic, and you know it." Adagio enters the vehicle while Aria and Santia gave their glares to the princess until they enter as well. Aria took out her keys, started the RV, and drove away, leaving the Rainbooms alone. Princess Twilight stepped on the middle of the road as she saw the Sirens leaving the place, still keeping the same face the whole time. Did we just saw Princess Twilight making a stand for us? Flush, I asked. That's really saying something, since this is the first time she ever talked face to face to the Dazzlings. Rarity added. Human Twilight is still concerned from what just happened. While she's relieved nothing bad has happened, she walked up to her counterpart. "Twilight, are you feeling alright?" she asked. Princess Twilight painted in her own paste. "Just a little. It's just, I went through a lot today and I almost had it heal from those girls." Sunset can see the stress from her princess friend, while she's noticing that it's getting pitch black outside. "I think we should all head to where PostCrush is performing. I'm pretty sure the performance will keep our minds off of this." "You're right, let's go," Princess Twilight replied as Sunset leads the group. Sunset's favorite band, along with a very popular girl at school, will definitely make tonight much more better, and it will also make the Princess of Friendship the opposite of angry. Beat drops by Unreal Fantasies. The darkened sky above the Starswirl Festival has shooting stars sticking across the night sky. People brought glow sticks along so they can lift them in the air to watch their favorite band perform. It's one of the best things that can come out of the festival when the moon rises. PostCrush is about to start the performance in front of their fans on stage with a Titantron behind them. Princess Twilight and Sunset Shimmer are waiting in the front row while their friends are on the other side of the crowd. Princess Twilight is slowly calming down after the stand she made against the Sirens 30 minutes ago. While she isn't taking back anything she said to them, she's happy that they're away from the festival. "Twilight," Sunset replied, "I know today was pretty rough, but believe me, when you see PostCrush play their music, it will be better than your first impressions." The princess took a few seconds to process the details about what's coming in minutes. "I really hope you're right. When I talked to them earlier today, they seemed so ordinary." This made Sunset stunned. Is everyone you see for the first time ordinary? That's what your counterpart felt when we went to Camp Everfree. Hey, Tempo and Glossio showed me that last year and I found it more than ordinary. I just think Supernova and Kiwi are lucky their careers are popular. Sunset would easily take Twilight's opinions as compliments, but after so long being apart before her second yacht vacation, she can see Twilight being a princess in Equestria properly the more she hangs out with her. You'll just wait and see. The spotlights from the stage in pink color have turned on one by one, which causes the crowd to cheer. The Titantron shows off pink hearts, going forward towards the swing, while the speakers burst out the instrumentals of PostCrush's song. But before Supernova and Kiwi come out from the bottom of the stage, a girl comes out first. She's right in front of the Titantron, being the DJ of PostCrush, and her name is Viola Scratch. Princess Twilight didn't forget about her when she took her to Equestria months ago. She knew she would see her again since she has a strong passion for music when she is a DJ at school or anywhere. Viola notices that the Princess of Friendship is attended in the crowd. She's more than happy that she's here in the festival because she had a conversation with PostCrush on allowing her to use her idea when her song is over. When Viola doing her talent, Supernova and Kiwi came out from the bottom, doing their pose together in front of the fans. The fans scream in joy to see them on stage yet again. As for Sunset Shimmer, her arms and legs shake in excitement, which caught Princess Twilight's notice. "You're feeling alright?" Twilight asked. "Like I said, wait and see," Sunset squealed. PostCrush's instruments appear from the ground up of the stage. Kiwi's guitar with her guitar pick attached, and Supernova's drum set. They make their way, grab their instruments with microphones in front of them. "Fans of PostCrush," Kiwi shouted, "this song is for all your support and love." Supernova and Kiwi began singing their song True Original in front of the fans as they played their instruments. As for Viola Scratch, she moves the records on her set to give the song her style of remix. With remixes becoming popular in the genre, a combination will make people more than happy to listen on occasions. It made everyone, including Sunset Shimmer, way into the remix. Princess Twilight didn't like the idea of a song being remixed, but it didn't ruin anything for her. The lyrics she heard from Kiwi and Supernova are amazing, and when she hears her instruments, it made her appreciate the song itself. During the conversation she had with them, she can tell she doesn't expect perfection as long as she's impressed and entertained. PostCrush knows that Twilight and Sunset are watching in the front. They're happy that Twilight kept her promise, especially on what's to come after the song is over. After seeing the final lyrics of True Original, PostCrush's fans cheered again while raising their glow sticks. Viola Scratch did the best in her talent to make her remix with True Original amazing, and luckily, her goal succeeded when she saw a sign from a fan with her face on it. As for Kiwi, Lollipop, and Supernova Zap, they love it when they earn the support from their fans. They become better when they decide to reunite as a full-time band. "Thank you everyone," Supernova shouted. "We wouldn't be here right now without all of you lovely fans," Kiwi added as she pointed at Viola. "And don't forget to give our DJ Viola Scratch an applause for adding her remix into our song." The fans cheered at PostCrush's DJ, which made Viola accept the approval from the crowd. She also saw Sunset and Twilight giving her a thumbs up. It made her heart warm when anyone gives her a thumbs up, because it shows she never messes anything up. "Now before we leave, we're going to sing True Original again, but me and Viola made an agreement," Kiwi replied. "We allowed to have 3 people along with our best friends to dance on stage at the beat of our music. This is what we called beat drops," Supernova added. Fans became shocked with an opportunity to dance with PostCrush while performing. It's rare for them to have their dreams come true like this. "Viola, come up and pick the people to dance with us." Viola came up at the edge of the stage and looked closely through her pink shades, pulling attention on the crowd who deserved to be on stage. Sunset Shimmer is shaking in excitement, hoping that Viola picks her to be on stage. She may sang with PostCrush before, but it's one of her moments she wants to relive in her life. For the next minute, Viola picked 2 teens along with her best friends to come on stage. She only has one more person to join in the experience, and thanks to her strong knowledge, her friendship always stays in herself and knows how to use it at the right moments. She turned her attention to Twilight with a smile on her face. She pointed at the princess as one of her friends she made are now in the spotlight. Princess Twilight is surprised that she's the last person to be invited on stage, which made the crowd looked at. Twilight, she's allowing you on stage, Sunset cheered. The princess felt way better than she was almost an hour ago. She enjoyed the music from PostCrush, and after the talk she had with them, she decides to have Sunset join in the fun. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go! Princess Twilight grabbed Sunset's arm as they went to the other side of the stage where there's an entrance to be on stage. They get in between the other picks viral chores as they see the crowd of PostCrush fans. They also saw the Rainbooms from the back, cheering loudly when they noticed the best friends are on stage with the best band in the Starswirl Festival. Twilight made the right choice to take her friend, who took time to earn redemption, on stage with her favorite band of all time. It's the only thing she can do to make Sunset happy from a passion of friendship. PostCrush and Viral went back to the places as they do the remix of True Original again. The 16s, after memorizing the song and the beats of the music, began to dance. Viral Scratch always think ahead to make any performance way better than the last if she's part of the music. She pressed a button on her equipment. The Tidytrons behind her shows 3 of her choices to dance on stage. It will give her friends the chance to be in the spotlight more with the band by their side. Twilight insisted on enjoying themselves, dancing at the beat of PostCrush's music. Sunset can feel the energy inside her body. Unlike the time she was on stage with her friends as the Rainbooms, this was bigger in the music genre she's into. Twilight found this better than her cruise vacation months ago. Even if she did great things like the wave race and meeting new and old friends, but getting the makeover, meeting more old friends, and dancing on stage are better. While she made promises with microchips and Principal Celestia, she can't wait what's waiting for her tomorrow in the festival. PostCrush and Viral Scratch have finished the song again, with her fans cheering again. Princess Twilight felt so satisfied while Sunset Shimmer is feeling the dream all over again. Her eyes are lit with a smile on her face, along her cheeks glowing a small red color. Oh Twilight, that was amazing, Sunset giving her princess friend a hug. I knew taking you would make you feel the experience like I did. You don't have to mention it. After all, it's been a long time coming to give you my friendship, Twilight hugging back. She also saw PostCrush giving her a thumbs up. Today was Twilight's first day, but tomorrow will be her second and last day of the festival. She can only hope she and Sunset can meet PostCrush again, hanging out so she can know them more like how they became a band. Right now, she has a schedule in her mind. 2 people she's going to meet while meeting more bands she hasn't met yet. While today was the best she had in this world, tomorrow will be a day she'll never forget. Midnight Plan. After the Rainbooms head back to their spot in the parking lot, they immediately went to sleep to save their energy for the morning. It was a long night for them, especially how tired the Princess of Friendship is. With everyone sleeping in their sleeping bags during the night, Human Twilight opened her eyes. She put on her glasses and checked her phone. It's 12 a.m. midnight. She looked at her friends, realized that Starlight isn't in her sleeping bag. She looked out the window and noticed Starlight is laying on the grass. She came out of Rarity's RV and met Starlight. Starlight, Twilight said, you can't sleep? Not even close, Starlight answered with depression in her voice. I don't know if Twilight can forgive me for what I did. Human Twilight remembered what happened yesterday, but at the same time she felt sympathy for Starlight. She sat by her, trying her best to cheer her up. What made you think Other Me won't forgive you? Did you see the way she acted towards the Sirens? I've seen her mad before, but it was nothing like this. Starlight looked at the stars while she tries to continue the topic. Adagio and her band feel so promising, and when I finally saw their true colors, I'm afraid of what they're going to do. Twilight didn't like the way the Dazzlings made the warning towards her friends, but at the same time, she knew she wasn't the only one getting manipulated. Starlight, before I transferred to Canterlot High, my principal told me to do everything to make her school victorious in the friendship games, and that's when I discovered Equestrian magic. Let's just say the consequences were ugly, she bit her lip. The thing is, forgiveness took time for me, and considering for how long Twilight spends in Equestria, she would easily respect you even with the mistakes. Starlight thought about it, and during her experiences living with Twilight and Spike, she finally understands. So, what do you think I should do? Maybe hanging out with us tomorrow? It will make Twilight more happy at least. That's a good idea. Just when they're about to head back inside the RV, Starlight saw someone going in the festival from the other side of the entrance. Wait a minute. Starlight looking closely and saw that a girl is carrying a bag. Do you see someone? Twilight looked closely and noticed someone walking in the festival where there's no security during the night. Yeah, I do. She took out her phone and used her telescope app to see a much closer look. She couldn't believe what she witnessed when she saw her screen on her device. It's Aria! What? Starlight reacted in shock. I thought they left the festival. So do I. Twilight looked at her screen again as she saw Aria making her way in the hedge maze. I had a bad feeling about this. What are they going to do? Twilight didn't expect anyone to stay up in the middle of the night. She can understand the stress Starlight is dealing with due to a lack of sleep, but not someone like Aria from the Dazzlings. We got to see what they're up to. Follow me. Twilight and Starlight sneak into the festival, hiding while spying Aria coming in and out of the hedge maze. It's been about 10 minutes since they didn't see what's inside of the bags Aria is carrying. I have no idea what she's doing right now, Twilight commented. Yeah, why is she up so late? Starlight added. I don't know, this is not looking good. Of course, you're right. Starlight and Twilight moved forward after they heard a voice behind them. Who said that? Twilight hiding behind Starlight. It was me. She came out of the dark and revealed herself. Starlight and Twilight saw Adagio backing them away with a grin on her face. And to make matters worse, Aria and Santia witnessed them as well, making it an intervention they set up. Didn't expect you two to stay up this late. Funny, because we were thinking the same thing when we saw you. Starlight making an awkward grin. Shut your mouth, Aria retorted. The Dazzlings surround Starlight and Twilight as they are by the hedge maze. For this and tomorrow night, the lights from the inside glow, but it's only for the bands performing in the festival. With no one spotting, Adagio is no longer furious, since her new plan is coming to play. What's going on? Twilight asked, while being terrified. Taking matters into our own hands, Santia replied. And you know what we mean, Adagio added. What goes around, comes around. Aria went by the leader with a bag still in her hands. She opened it and it's revealed to be instruments from the other bands in the festival. Twilight and Starlight couldn't believe what the Dazzlings are doing. Are those the same instruments Dot and his band used yesterday? Starlight pointed. And is that Microchip's helmet? Twilight added. Yes, and this is one of the many bags we have in our RV. Aria crossing her arms. Wait, are you going to hijack the Starswirl Festival? Twilight and Starlight didn't expect the Dazzlings to do something devastating. It's one thing to take over Cantalata under their spell, but hijacking is unacceptable in the Starswirl Festival rules. Don't you think you're going to get in serious trouble if someone finds out about this? Starlight replied. They're not going to, because bands like us always know how respectful we are backstage, Adagio smiled. We're going to make sure we're the only band performing while everyone else gets set aside. It will make your best friend's weekend ruined, Santia added. Ruined? Twilight shouted. Oh please, just because you never thought with us doesn't mean we're going to take it easy on you. Aria placing her hand on her hip. Twilight never met the Dazzlings before, but after what she saw yesterday, it's not going to turn out well for her. What are you going to do with us? You should have stayed asleep with your friends instead of sneaking into the festival. You're not going anywhere, Santia commented. But why are you doing this? You should at least think about doing this. Starlight backing away, but this only made Adagio annoyed. It's not going to happen. I would never let go of the fact the Princess of Friendship ruined our old plans from taking over this world, Adagio retorted. Not to mention another ruined plans I had. Adagio, although me, only came here to enjoy herself in the festival. What makes you think she's going to accept what's going to happen in the morning? Twilight wondered. She isn't going to accept it because we know full well she and the Rainbooms will leave the festival. We know she doesn't like our band and wants nothing to do with us. But what about us? We would take our revenge on you, but then we remembered you did nothing to us, so we decided to give you a less of a punishment, Aria replied. The Dazzlings got closer to Twilight and Starlight, unable for them to head back to Rarity's RV. For so many years of using our powers from the ones I hate the most, I'd rather have them feel my wrath with or without my spells. Your so-called other self should have stayed in Equestria where she belongs. As for any band or solo player in this festival, they're better off leaving while the Dazzlings take all the spotlight. And this time, Princess Twilight will never stop us like they did before, especially Sunset Shimmer. Aria and Santia grabbed Twilight in Starlight's arms. Aria even took Twilight's droids off, preventing her from using it. They take them to the RV as they got everything they needed from the Starswirl Festival to put the new plan into play. As Aria drove away from the festival, Twilight and Starlight are defenseless. Not only the Rainbooms aren't going to find them, but the surprise they're going to endure won't be any better. Ghost Town Vengeance. Twilight, wake up! Sunset shaking the Princess of Friendship. Sunset, what time is it? Princess Twilight slowly opened her eyes while trying to get up. Twilight, this is really important. After Princess Twilight changed into her festival outfit, she and Sunset came out of the RV and saw that the rest of the Rainbooms are outside. Pinkie Pie is rolling on the ground, depressed. Fluttershy and Rarity are pacing together, and Rainbow Dash and Applejack are sitting down, barely eating the pancakes they made for breakfast. Where's Starlight and Other Me? Twilight asks until Pinkie Pie gets into the princess's face. We don't know. They've disappeared into the unknown. The unknown, well, they're lost without us, Pinkie shouted. Wait, so all of you don't know where they are? All the Rainbooms did is shook their head from Twilight's question. For the second day of the festival, they didn't expect anything like this to happen. However, that's only the least of the problems. Ghost, Fluttershy called to our attention. There's something wrong at the festival. The ghosts follow Fluttershy from behind as they enter the entrance of the Starswirl Festival. They saw there was no one in the surroundings in the festival. Usually there's tons of people hanging out to enjoy the music, but there's nothing but silence. Not only that, the concessions are gone, making the festival more empty. The only concession that's available is the taco stand. The Rainbooms couldn't believe what's going on. What happened here? Twilight reacted. The bands and solo players of the Starswirl Festival are gone, Rarity replied. This doesn't make any sense. They wouldn't cancel the festival if they didn't remind us, Sunset said while looking at every direction. Then Applejack saw a poster hanging on a tree. What in tarnation is this? She questions as she pulls the poster off. She shows it to her friends and it reveals that a puppy is missing. Fluttershy couldn't believe it. Supernova Zap's puppy, Princess Thunderguts, is missing again. Isn't that the same puppy I saw yesterday? Twilight pointed. It is, Fluttershy added. It said, my partner, Supernova, is too depressed to either practice or perform because our puppy, Princess Thunderguts, is missing. We encourage our fans to find our puppy as quickly as possible. Applejack read. This has to be the reason why most of the people are gone. This festival is a ghost town now, Pinkie reacted. What are we going to do? Rainbow asked. I don't know, Applejack replied. Princess Twilight never thought anything like this would ever happen. While she didn't see Dorot's band, her schedule in her mind has officially been hijacked. Her plans of hanging out with PostCrush, Microchips, and Principal Celestia won't happen because of the crisis she's dealing with. Her choice would return back to Equestria, but she still needs to find Starlight and her counterpart. Just when she's about to return to Rarity's RV, a thought came to her. She didn't forget what happened with her yesterday during the sunset. The words she remembered the most was, What goes around comes around even without our magic, which causes our eyes to turn white. Oh no, she spoke as she rushes to her destination. The ghosts also took notice from her princess friend's suspiciousness. They followed her from behind until they saw Twilight running. The Princess of Friendship can easily see what is truly going on. The festival becoming a ghost town while PostCrush's performance is cancelled can only be one thing only. Once she and her friends arrived at their destination, they saw security guards blocking anyone from entering. There's still a band available, Pinkie called from behind. Sunset then see what is going on. Her anger has returned when she saw the same stage from yesterday. Sorry to bother you, but is the festival supposed to be cancelled? Twilight asked. No, Max Steely answered. However, it's going to end in the next 2 hours. The next 2 hours? Rarity blinked. The band on stage has the rest of the audience so they can sing their songs. The others decide to find PostCrush's puppy. Oh, so that explains why most of the vehicles are gone, Rainbow added. Twilight only had one question for the security guard. Who's the band who's performing? Max moved out of the way and showed the Rainbooms the stage wall with screaming fans. The Dazzlings. He pointed at the band who's in the middle of the song. Adagio, Santa, and Aria sing with green smoke surrounding them. The fans are happy with the Starswirl Festival isn't cancelled, but at the same time, they have no idea what is really going on behind closed doors. Princess Twilight and her friends had no words whatsoever from what they're witnessing. As for Sunset Shimmer, she is more furious that her weekend has been hijacked. They have no idea how the Sirens did all this in the span of 24 hours. The Rainbooms return back to the RV while trying to finish the pancakes, but they're too depressed to eat. Sunset Shimmer continues to clench her fist, pacing from left to right. Sunset, can you please calm down? Twilight asked. I can't, Sunset shouted. Twilight and her band hijacked the Starswirl Festival. How can I calm down to this? Anger isn't the answer to everything, Fluttershy retorted. Especially that poor puppy is all by herself, Fluttershy being scared. Well, we can't just sit here eating pancakes while being defeated, Rarity added. But what are we going to do? Applejack added. Princess Twilight tried to think of a way to fix this, but the odds are against her. Her two friends missing, unable to help, and almost all the bands are nowhere to be seen. Not to mention, she's running out of time before the festival ends in less than 2 hours. I'm sure the bands didn't leave the festival because the Dazzlings are the only ones available. She took a bite of her pancake. They'll maybe find Princess Thunderguards, but I don't think it will cause the performances to be cancelled. You're right, the security guard did say there are other people trying to find her, Pinkie added. Fluttershy remembered she brought along her droid in case of animal emergencies. While others are searching, it's still not going to stop. She uses her powers and saw that Princess Thunderguts is hiding inside of a vehicle. She must have been kidnapped, she cried. That's even worse, Rarity added. Great, not only Adagio hijacked the festival, but also caused thievery on animals, Rainbow said. Sunset refused to let this slide. She brought her princess friend just so human Twilight can enjoy herself. Okay, here's the plan, she spoke. Me, Pinkie, and Twilight will find the bands and solo players in the festival. Rainbow, Applejack, Rarity, Fluttershy, check the remaining vehicles if you can find where Thunderguts is hiding. We don't have much time though. The Rainbooms had no other choice. Even if they tried to find everyone who left to find Supernova's puppy outside of the festival, it would take them hours. You're right, Applejack replied as she finished eating her pancakes. Come on, girls, we have a puppy to save. You're right, Rarity added. The other girls finished their breakfast as they follow Applejack. Come on, Twilight, we need to fix this, Sunset replied. Yeah, there's still a chance, Pinkie added. But how are we going to show proof that the Dazzlings caused all this? Twilight asked. We'll deal with that later. We should check everywhere to find PostCrush. I'm sure they might help us. Sunset grabbed on Twilight's hand as they head back to the Starswirl Festival. Recancelling PostCrush. Twilight, Sunset, and Pinkie made their way to the stage PostCrush always performs. After walking through the festival, the Dazzlings have completely taken over the place. Everyone who's watching the performance makes the other bands invisible due to the disastrous plan ruining them. The three Wayne saw the stage completely abandoned, but not yet deconstructed. They're happy nothing has been torn down, but it won't last long. This is the most depressing thing I have ever seen, Pinkie commented. Tell me about it, Sunset looking around. I have never seen anything like this before. Twilight had no words from what she's seen. Last night it was one of the funnest nights she had, but in the span of 12 hours, it feels like the Sirens just snap everything away with just 3 fingers. And to think she's about to hang out with them today will never happen. Do you know where PostCrush is at? Twilight asked. They have an understage room where most of their equipment is at, Sunset answered. Me and Pinkie went under there once when we were trying to get the time twirler from them. Sunset takes her 2 friends from the other side of the stage. Usually there's people working on the lights and smoke while PostCrush performs their music, but like everywhere else, all the employees are at the dazzling stage. They opened the door and went down the steps that leads to the understage room. When they came down, they're surprised that Kiwi Lollipop and Supernova Zap are still there. However, Supernova has her head laying on her decks while Kiwi notices that they have unexpected visitors. There was too much silence from the 2 girls who have a passion of loving music and performing in front of their fans. Sunset Shimmer, Kiwi replied, I thought you and your friends are finding Supernova's pet. Our friends have taken care of that, but we're also surprised you 2 are still here, Sunset walking into the room. We would, but my friend is too depressed to even go to our bus. This is worse than last time. They all looked at Supernova Zap crying, not even trying to practice on her drumming skills. She really cares about her puppy, huh? Pinkie added, which offended Kiwi. Hey, you need to understand that real-life situations are more important than concerts. We know, we totally respect that, Princess Twilight added. But the thing is, her puppy isn't really lost. This caused Supernova to lift her head up from her desk. She isn't, she reacted in surprise. She was stolen. Stolen? Both Kiwi and Supernova shouted. Who did that? The Dazzlings. Sunset, Twilight, and Pinkie both answered. The famous band in the festival couldn't believe that the other bands was the cause of this. So you're telling us that Princess Thunderguts is still here in the festival? Supernova asked. Yes, but we still don't know where she's at, Sunset replied. While Supernova is disappointed, she's still relieved that her puppy is still safe and sound. But why would Adagio and her parent would do such a thing? Wow, even they weren't too good to hide their true colors, Pinkie whispered to her friends. You don't say, Sunset whispered back. Twilight, on the other hand, might see the reason why the Dazzlings stay out of trouble from their consequences. Have you met them at least once? She asked. Actually, more than once, Kiwi said. We did have lunch before this festival and we enjoyed their song. But the other times, they're more shallow backstage, Supernova added. That's because they don't need awful friendship from anyone, Twilight crossing her arms. All they ever want is admiration. She's right, Sunset crossing her arms. Do you ever see them talking to the other bands and solo players at some point before they perform? Kiwi and Supernova both looked at each other. They did come across the Dazzlings from time to time, but they never saw them making any contact with others. Not really, Supernova answered. At the end of the day, they left like we were nothing to them. Why doesn't that bother you? Pinkie answered. That's because bands do when we have multiple stages. Kiwi placing her hands on her hips. The Princess of Friendship may not know how long the Dazzlings kept their true colors when they began their new careers, but as far as she's concerned, they picked the best job. They really want to be shallow so they can show you that they never caused anything bad in this festival. As PostCrush and her friends turn their attention on Twilight, the princess continues her theory. After we defeated them, They know how to stay out of trouble while still continuing their goals. Wait, what do you mean defeated them? Though actually the Sirens in Equestria who has spell powers, Pinkie popped in between PostCrush. Even when they lost everything they had, they still never change. I don't want to discuss everything, but I know we can make your band in yellows reconcile the performances, Twilight added. PostCrush may not understand the history of the Dazzlings, but after knowing though the reasons Thunder Guts isn't around, they don't deserve to be on stage performing. I cannot believe we've been duped, Kiwi being furious. Don't blow a gasket, Sunset recalled. We still don't have any evidence to prove that they caused all of this. Not to mention we need to know where the other bands and solo artists are at. They're probably still looking for your puppy, Twilight replied. Not exactly, Supernova wiping her tears from her face. Dirt and others came to me to apologize for what just happened. They're by the stands where you can buy bikes. You mean they're not buying your puppy right now? Pinkie asked. I'm pretty sure. Then let's go find them. They might help us. Twilight rushing up the stairs. Sunset, Pinkie, and PostCrush follow from behind. They leave from the understage in the location itself. The musical intervention. The Rainbooms and PostCrush went through the empty festival and saw 10 people by the bike stand. They were the only ones who didn't bother to watch the Dazzlings perform or leave to find Princess Thunderguts. Microchips is sitting on the ground looking at his iPad while his fan, Space Camp, sits by him. Two grown women who have their own separate food stands are staying together, completely in a bad mood. Dirk Fizzleweed's band are by a tree frowning that they don't have their instruments. Vignette Venetia is the only one who's bored now that the Starswirl Festival is a ghost town with nothing to offer. Looks like we're not the only ones staying, Sunset commented. And Adagio is really desperate for admiration and revenge, Twilight retorted. As they walk up to the group, Microchips took notice. Twilight, he stands up. Have you seen your other self lately? No, neither did I. It makes no sense for her to leave today. I don't think she left, Supernova replied. If she did, she will find my puppy. With almost 30 minutes after the princess woke up from Royalty's RV, Twilight might understand the suspicious disappearance from her counterpart and Starlight Glimmer. Oh, she's missing, just like Thunderguts, she said with realization. Great, Sunset rolled her eyes. The Sirens just get better and better even without anyone under the spell. Hey, why is Dirk's band also not performing? And Microchips with his sound beat helmet thingy. Pinkie wondered. We've been robbed, Fizzleweed commented. When we head to our locker room, all of our instruments are gone, Dakota added. We looked everywhere and we couldn't find them, Violet finished. The Rainbooms and PostCrush can finally see the big picture. The Dazzlings committed robbery on Supernova's puppy, both Human Twilight and Starlight, and now the instruments. This cannot get any worse, Kiro replied. Never speak of it, Puff Pastry shouted. Hey, isn't that the same chef from the cruise? Twilight pointed. Puff Pastry? Pinkie noticed. What's the matter? Puff took a deep breath while trying to express her situation. I was told I had to cancel my stamp because she began to shake with her tempo coming back. Because of what? Sunset said. Because the Dazzlings, being the one and only band available, only wants the taco stand and nothing else. Summer Solstice finished, which made Puff painted. The girls had no words from what they heard. While they know farewell festivals should have qualities of food, but tacos being the only thing for people to eat didn't faze them. I'm going to assume Santiago came up with that idea, Sunset guessed. But there's one thing they need to know. Twilight making her way to Vignette. When Vignette noticed that there's a shadow blocking her way, she looked at Twilight. She isn't that surprised after what she accomplished with the makeup she, Royalty, and Applejack did. Is there something wrong? Yes, the fact that everyone is either watching the Dazzlings or finding a small dog, the Starswirl Festival is nothing to me. Vignette being upset. Don't even bother to own me today. This isn't the time. Twilight felt sad to see her new friend in such a boring state. Okay. She headed back to her friends who are still trying to find a way to help everyone. Dark, Supernova walking up to her friend. Have you ever considered who stole your equipment? Well, I know Foa the Dazzlings wouldn't do that since they're always shallow, Dark replied. Both Sunset and Kiwi facepalmed themselves. We really need to check all the bands 24/7 in case something bad has happened, Sunset retorted. It was the Dazzlings who stole your equipment, Kiwi shouted. They're the ones who made all this happen. They stole our two best friends, they stole an innocent puppy, they stole instruments, and they wiped out all of our favorite foods! Pinky shouted, which caused everyone around her taken aback from the outburst. Pinky slowly calmed down as she notices the attention she caused. Sorry, I just missed churros. What we're trying to do is fixing all of our problems, Twilight being the voice of reason. At this point, all of you should know that the Dazzlings is causing all of this. Microchips can remember something he did when he got here. He looked at his iPad and scrolled to the app he's looking for. The others have finally caught into the masterminds behind this entire situation. But is there anything to convince their fans on what's really going on? Space Camp asked. That's the issue we have. We don't have any evidence, Supernova said. Even if we tell anyone, they won't believe us, Supernova added. Well, we can all agree we're all in the club of hating the Dazzlings, Vignette commented. The only thing I can think of is if we had cameras all over the festival so security can see everything last night, someone replied. Microchips managed to connect to the cameras he set up around the festival. Even during the night, he can activate the night vision so anyone can be spotted. Guys, I think we do have evidence. Everyone went behind him to see what happened last night. The first footage from last night shows Aria in Dark's room, stealing the instruments while taking them to a vehicle. Another footage is shown with Adagio slowly breaking and entering PostCrush's bus. After 30 seconds, she came out with Princess Thunderguts in her arms, while pulling her in the dog cage. Then finally, they saw the footage where Human Twilight and Starlight Glimmer gained their arms tied with their mouths covered up. Everyone is completely shocked that the Dazzlings did all of this last night, but they at least got the evidence for proof. The Rainbooms and PostCrush won't let the Dazzlings hog the spotlight anymore. Microchips, you're hanging out with us, Princess Twilight being serious. What am I going to do? Microchips said. Can you try connecting your iPad to one of the two big screens by the stage? Sunset asked. I think I can, but I need help with the cords. I can help, Space Camp chimed in. Perfect, Pinky smiled. What about Alice? Took one note. This gave PostCrush an idea. Since they've all been the victim of robbery, it will convince everyone more on the true colors of the Dazzlings. How about we all get on stage to expose the Dazzlings before they get kicked out of the festival? Supernova offered. You know, so we can have our payback. Kiwi smirked. Works better for us. Violet smiled. They deserve to be kicked out. They will never come back, Dakota added. And deserving consequences properly this time. Twilight finished. Puff Pastry and Summer Sausage are going to be more happy when they get back in business with their food stands. The Rainbooms and others leave as they prepare the plan to not only save their friends, but also the Starswirl Festival. Just before Princess Twilight followed her friends, she stopped and looked at Summer Sausage. Sunset Shimmer took notice as she walked up behind her princess friend. Is there something wrong, Twilight? She asked. Yeah. Is it me or is she looks too similar to Principal Celestia except she's longer? Twilight wondered. Sunset rolled her eyes smiling. She did come across Summer before and it gave her the same reaction. You know, people who aren't in the family can still be related to others, even if it's weird and out of the ordinary. Sunset grabbed Twilight's arm as they catch up to her friends. Do people always mistaking you from that? Puff asked. Sometimes. If Celestia wasn't around, someone answered while being mostly offended. Adagio's downfall. There's only 30 minutes left until the festival closes. The Rainbooms and PostCrush took the time they need to prepare their plan. They told Flasheye, Royalty, Applejack, and Rainbow Dash everything that happened. While they don't need their help, they can't wait to see the look on their enemies' faces for hijacking their weekend. Back at the Dazzling stage, everyone are slowly moving their heads at the sound of the music. Find the Magic has become a hit from the Dazzlings to the point their fans adore it from being quiet and soft. Adagio is real proud of herself to get the attention she stole, and so does Aria and Santia. With nothing coming in the way, they're definitely going to be coming back next year, or at least what they think. Behind the stage, the Rainbooms along with microchips in Space Camp are sneaking under the fence to prevent getting caught from the audience and the security. We are so going to be banned, Rainbow Dash whispered. We're not. Our plan is still working out fine, Applejack whispered back. Is PostCrush and Dogs banned by the gate? Royalty asked. They should be. I'll text them once we get to the Dazzling's truck, Sunset replied. When they're behind the stage, they also notice that Max Steely is in front of the back gate by the stage. They slowly got up and made their way at the Dazzling's truck. Princess Twilight is feeling paranoid of getting this close to being caught, but she's not going to leave her friends. Sunset opened the door quietly as she and Twilight head inside. Her friends close the door behind while they get to the other side of the truck from getting caught. Sunset turned on the lights as she's surprised to see human Twilight and Starlight tied up with duct tape. Twilight, Princess Twilight shouted happily until Sunset covered her mouth. Shh, quiet, she whispered loudly. Both human Twilight and Starlight moving constantly. Sunset and Princess Twilight untied their friends while taking the duct tape off. I knew you would find us, Starlight hugging Sunset. We'll explain all this later, human Twilight hugging our counterpart. What are we going to do? We're going to end the careers of the Dazzlings, Sunset answered as she takes out her phone. She texts microchips for his cue to put into play. He and Space Camp went behind the stage where most of the cords are connected to the two big screens by the stage. Microchips took out his iPad and tries to connect his videos on the screens. There's still one thing we haven't found yet, Princess Twilight staying on topic. Where's Supernova's puppy? Starlight and human Twilight had been in the Dazzling's truck for the majority of the day. They did remember Adagio putting a pet in one of the cabinets. Human Twilight opened the cabinet that's under the sink and is revealed to be Supernova's pet, Princess Thunderguts, but she's crying, being in the cage in the dark. Twilight took out the cage under the sink as the girls see Thunderguts terrified. Adagio really isn't a pet person, is she? Sunset commented. I really don't want to know what she was going to do with her, Starlight added. Wait, there's still more? Human Twilight gave the cage to Starlight to check the other cabinets. She not only saw her droids, but also the instruments Dark used with his band. Adagio really thinks we're going to let this slide, huh? Not even close, Princess Twilight crossing her arms. Back at the stage, the Dazzlings are almost done with the performance. Microchips in Space Camp managed to disconnect the two big stage, which causes technical difficulties. Microchips is scared that he's going to be in serious trouble, but he's not going to mess the plan up. The crowd notices that the two screens aren't working, but not long as the Dazzlings are finished. They clap at the performance as Adagio takes a microphone and begins her speech. It's been a delight to have so many of our lovely fans to be attended here, she smiled. Aria takes her microphone and begins her speech. We're only doing this just to help this festival stay in business for the next 2 hours. Santia pretends to act sad while she speaks through her microphone. I know it's very devastating that all this happened today. The crowd felt disappointed that their favorite bands in the Starswirl Festival have cancelled the performances. But don't worry, we're always here to keep you satisfied, Adagio replied. Behind the stage, the Twilights, Sunset, and Starlight quietly moved out of the truck with Thunderguts in her cage, still in her possession. While they get by their friends who are still hiding, they're listening to the Dazzlings making their speech. When we first heard about this festival, we wanted to spread our vocal cords to all of you. It's our style to make the music community magnificent. Rainbow Dash opened her mouth in disgust from hearing Adagio's lies, which made her friends giggle. Microchips is getting close to finishing with the chords and he's trying to connect. Space Camp also knows 3 small black cords that are hanging. Her friends told her to unplug the microphones to have the crowd put their attention more on their evidence. She pulls the cords one by one while Adagio is still talking. And one more thing, we're going to be here for a long time to sing our musical tones in front of all. Just when she's about to finish her sentence, her microphone has shut off. She calls herself in frustration just when she is at her next step of her plan. Adagio, my microphone is dead. Aria patting on her microphone. Microchips managed to connect the wires as his video is on the big screens. With the crowd pulling their attention away from Adagio, they all looked at the video. The Dazzlings realized their fans aren't watching, but when they saw themselves on the big screen from last night, their jaw dropped with their eyes shot open. Every one of their fans couldn't believe it. They saw Adagio stealing Princess Thunderguts from PostCrush's bus, Aria stealing the instruments from Dirk's band, not to mention surrounding the 2 girls, tying their hands together with duct tape and taping over their mouths. They all put their attention back on the Dazzlings, mad that they're the reasons they caused the festival to cancel the other bands and solo players. Adagio, Santia whispered, "What are we going to do?" Adagio had no words at all from the predicament she's in. The crowd put all the heat on the Dazzlings, even more than the students from Canterlot High. They throw the tacos they've been eating at the band, which caused the Dazzlings to run off the stage, but stop when Max Steely prevents them from leaving. "You're not going anywhere," he shouted. "You girls are in serious trouble." He forces them to be back on the stage with no escape as the fans continue the heat. Adagio had never felt the opposite of admiration with her powers gone. After all these years of having people under the spell, she's now in their spell. Then an air horn was heard, causing the crowd to stop while covering their ears. When the air horn had stopped, everyone turned around and saw Kiwi causing the noise. "Let us in," she demanded. The security guard opened the gate, allowing PostCrush and Dirk's band to enter as the crowd got out of the way. The 5 most popular musicians of the Starswirl Festival glare at the Dazzlings, now that the truth has been exposed. They got on stage while the Dazzlings are surrounded with Adagio paranoid with a fist clenching. "Don't even try to fool us," Supernova crossing her arms. "Everything we saw won't be swept under the rug. You cancelled our performances, stole our property, hijacked the Starswirl Festival, and committed burglary," Dirk Thistleweed replied. "To think hiring you 3 was a good idea, but boy, we were wrong." Dakota placing her hand on her hip. "But come on, it's showbiz, right?" Santa making an awkward smile until Aria hit her with her elbow. "Showbiz, showbiz," Supernova rolled her eyes. "We don't do that kind of stuff here, especially girls who need auto-tune to sing," Violet added. When the Rainboom saw that the security guard is nowhere by the gate, they continued their plan in action. They went back behind the Dazzling's truck to take out the stolen instruments. Princess Twilight is more than happy her plan has saved the festival from ending earlier. Adagio Dazzler's eye has twitched so many times she is this close to using it. "You better think about firing us because you're relentless," Sansa called as she and her friends placed the stolen instruments on the ground. Flashlight unlocked and opened the cage to take Princess Thunderguts out. With her curl towards animals, she nuzzled to cheer her up, which made the puppy smile. She gets on stage while giving a glare at the Dazzlings, until she sweetly hands the puppy to Supernova. "Thank you so much," she hugged her pet. "You're welcome," Flashlight responded. Not only that, the other Rainbooms got on stage after they're done unloading the truck. Princess Twilight, along with her counterpart, smirked at her enemies in defeat. What's the matter? You can't handle the heat? Princess Twilight mocking. Maybe you should get medical help instead of staying as a band, Human Twilight added, which caused Adagio to rage. Max clearly blocked the Dazzlings from causing any fights. You are not only done in this festival, but also getting arrested for robbery, Kiwi pointed at the Dazzlings until she smilingly turned to the crowd. As for all of you, we're going to call everyone who left the festival to come back. We're back in business, Supernova cheered. The fans screamed in happiness with the Starswirl Festival continuing until at the end of the night. The Dazzlings are forced to leave the festival since they are now banned from returning. Before they headed out, Adagio gave the Rainbooms the door look. Even she, Aria, and Santiago are being sent to jail. They still remain the same no matter what happens to them. So much for calling me the one who doesn't change, Sunset replied. Don't worry, Sunset, Princess Twilight wrapping her arms around her friend's shoulder. At least you're respectful unlike them. That is, if they can handle the true consequences, Royalty being sassy. PostCrush then hugs Twilight and Sunset from behind. Thank you for saving the Starswirl Festival, Kiwi smiled. We definitely owe you big time, Supernova breaking the hug. But since we're not going to see each other for a while after this festival is over, it has to be today. Princess Twilight knows by the time PostCrush's performance is done, Royalty is driving back to cancel her tie to drop her off. With only 8 more hours left, she needs more time to think of something. Okay, I'll remind you an hour before you two perform. Works for us, Kiwi smiled. Reopening of Rejoice. The Rainbooms head back to Royalty's RV to have their lunch. After succeeding their mission of reopening the Starswirl Festival, they all take a break from the stress they went through from the Dazzlings hijacking. Applejack makes French toast for friends with syrup while brother Big Mac helps. During the lunch break, they saw tens of vehicles driving in the parking lot after the search of Supernova's puppy had gone to waste. They were happy they're back, but also felt bad they'd been lied to. I can't believe Adagio fooled almost half of the people to find Thunderguts, Applejack looking at the vehicles. At least they're getting refunds for their gas bill, Rainbow replied. All the Dazzlings' paychecks they lost will make up everyone's problems. Not to mention the churros are back on sale, Pinky cheered with a bag of churros in her hand. The Twilights are sitting together while Starlight and Sunset are sitting on the other side of the picnic table. So, were you two up last night? Sunset asked. Yes, I know Starlight wasn't sleeping with us, so I saw her outside, Human Twilight said while eating her French toast. The thing is, I wanted to apologize for dragging you to the dazzling stage, Starlight being ashamed. I just wanted to surprise you. Twilight didn't forget about that, but she wasn't mad at Starlight. It's fine. You didn't know what you were doing, the Princess of Friendship smiled. After what I've seen lately, I'm sure you won't make the same mistake again. Starlight felt a little better in the fact Human Twilight was right about her counterpart. They continued to eat the food as more people entered the reopening festival. Out of all the Rainbooms, Flashlight had something in mind. She and her friends know that their princess friend is heading back to Equestria once they return. She stands up from her stool, made her way to Princess Twilight for a question. Twilight? Flashlight spoke, which made Princess Twilight turn around. I was wondering. Yes, Twilight wondered. When you go back to Equestria, even when you're not busy and hanging out with us, how are we going to deal with the fact that others will see you and other you? Flashlight blushed as she pointed at Human Twilight. The Rainbooms completely forgot all about that before thinking about bringing the Princess of Friendship to the Starswirl Festival. Even Human Twilight didn't consider that when she has nothing to do before arriving. However, Princess Twilight wasn't afraid like she was back at the cruise. Actually, Flashlight, even if I did come across people who were on the cruise, there were people who didn't mind seeing the presence of me and other me out in the open. That is true, darling, Royalty said, but what if a stranger sees you coming out from the portal? He or she might have reported to the government. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Sunset didn't even thought about that when she messaged Twilight days ago. But as far as she's concerned, there were so many magical situations from the Everfree Forest to a distant island in the ocean, she knows anyone isn't too crazy about what happens next. Meanwhile, Principal Celestia and Vice Principal Luna have returned when they got the message. They saw the Rainbooms and Princess Twilight hanging out together, which is the right time for them to have that talk. So, Celestia called to the Rainboom's attention, all of you yet again fixed another situation like before, right? Not to mention bringing justice to the Dazzlings, Yuna added as she sits by Starlight while Celestia sits by the Princess of Friendship. Yes, it was a risky task, but at least we didn't get banned, Sunset rolled her eyes smiling. Let me guess, you want a talk on the hills, don't you? Princess Twilight looking at the principal. We can have a talk here, I don't mind, Celestia giggled. And don't worry about Canterlot High. You're off the hook for being an absent princess. So, you do know my friend is a princess in Equestria? Starlight blinked. Actually, she knew what was happening when, you know what with Sunset Shimmer, Rainbow explained. That's besides the point, Celestia getting back on topic. I'm still going to be principal for the next few years, and it's only a matter of time all of you are becoming seniors. Why are you asking us that? Princess Twilight wondered. The principal gave Twilight a sweet and respectful look, thanks to her good mood. I may not be an expert on princesses, but I do know that you're not going to have a lot of free time for yourself. So I was wondering, maybe this year or next year, can you be a student in Canterlot High for one whole day? The Rainbooms stunned in silence while the Princess of Friendship's eyes turned wide. You seriously want her to do that? Human Twilight asked. Why? Because she was not only the reason Sunset Shimmer changed, but also changed Canterlot High's societally thanks to friendship. And from what I heard, you were on the beach last year, making so many friends while giving them lessons. Dean Cadence, the principal of Crystal Prep, told me everything that happened between you and the Shadowboys, and it really makes me depressed you never got the chance to be a student for one day. It was rare to think someone like you, who does extraordinary things to make my students come together for friendship. As long as you make a deal with me, you can wait until you're ready. Princess Twilight found the offer from Celestia hard to decide, but she does make a point. She hardly talked to anyone when she came to Canterlot twice before she was away for so long. She remembered the cafeteria and the gym since they were the places she went to the most, and she had nice memories. While it is a good idea to think about, she's still having an issue resolving that. Celestia, I would love to accept your offer, but there's one problem, Twilight replied. We were just talking about the possibilities of getting reported to the government. This gave Celestia and Luna confused looks. I thought about that, Reality being truthful, and I lived in Equestria, so I don't think other people will accept me for being the twin sister of other me. I could try, but I don't think it will work out. Celestia and Luna felt disappointed. The offer won't happen, but Sunset came up with an idea. Wait a second. I know this is crazy, but why can't you go on stage before PostCrush performs? What? You mean? Yes, it's hard to convince everyone, but you were with us during our plan. And you and Twilight were on stage 30 minutes ago. It would be best to give everyone a speech about you in this whole Equestria situation. If they're going to tell people of how bad the Dazzlings are, they will do the same thing to you. Only difference is, they respect you, and that's also friendship. The biggest option made Twilight paranoid of the risks of being more exposed. However, it's the only thing she can do. With only 7 hours left, she has to pick the right choice for her friends and others. I'll tell PostCrush about that, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. Twilight began concerned. Human Twilight actually agreed with her friend's advice. Don't worry, if this doesn't work, we'll still have your back, she smiled. We will be there too. I'm sure everything will turn out alright. Celestia closed her eyes while smiling. The Wayne-Brooms finished the lunch as they head back to the Starswirl Festival. With the mindset that Twilight is dealing with right now, it's going to take a long time for her to make her decision tonight. The Princess of Starswirl. After 6 long hours enjoying the Starswirl Festival, Princess Twilight made up her mind to talk to PostCrush about making a speech in front of the crowd, to which they accepted. Almost everyone is in the audience at the final PostCrush performance before they head back home. At the last minute, they were told that one of the girls who saved the festival from cancellation is going to be making a speech. After what they saw earlier, they're more than pleased to listen to anything from the speaker. The Wayne-Brooms are on the front row while they wait for the Princess Friend to come on stage. Most of the fingers are crossed, hoping what happens afterwards doesn't backfire. Celeste and Yuna are in the way back of the crowd, looking forward to the speech they're going to hear. Under the stage itself, Princess Twilight is taking deep breaths while Sunset Shimmer is right by her side and PostCrush on the other. Relax, everything is going to be fine, Sunset said. Sorry, Sunset, this feels way serious than the speeches I did back at Equestria, Twilight responded back. Twilight, I can guarantee you're going to be free from trouble, Kiwi being honest, and the fact we owe you for this, Supernova added. Also, even if you're going to be busy, think about the places we'll take you, Sunset placing her hand on her friend's shoulder. And if you meet anyone who hasn't seen you, keep an open mind and think of the positives. I'm sure the crowd will make you happy once we leave. Twilight took the time she had left to process Sunset's advice. Sunset is always right at times like this, and if it is true, she won't have to deal with this problem anymore. I have to get back to my friends. You're about to be on stage in a minute. Good luck. Sunset went up the staircase and left the understage room, leaving Twilight and PostCrush. The princess took a deep breath as she's standing at the platform where she comes out. As for Kiwi and Supernova, they press the buttons on the stage. The platform under Twilight rises up with a hall above the ceiling. She can always hear screaming fans coming from the hall. Kiwi picks up a functional microphone and she begins the intro of the performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the heroes of the Starswirl Festival, Twilight Sparkle, Kiwi shouted. Once the Princess of Friendship came out from the ground, she sees hundreds of people cheering, thanking her for saving the festival and the music it offers. She saw the Wayne-Brooms right at front, waving in excitement to see the Princess Friend on stage yet again. Even with the amount of people, Twilight can still recognize familiar faces. Wildflower Plush, Microchips, and even Dogs band in different spots. With a turned-on microphone in front of her, she took one last deep breath as she grabs the microphone. Hey everyone, she spoke as the crowd became quiet. This may take a while, so please be patient. The princess stopped herself to take another deep breath. Her heart is pounding while the crowd remains silent. The Wayne-Brooms starting to become worried from watching Twilight taking her time. Come on, Twilight, you can do this, Human Twilight whispered to herself. Princess Twilight found the words as she gets back to her speech. For what we did today by stopping the Dazzlings from hijacking the Starswirl Festival is the right thing for not only all of you, but the musicians as well. She then pointed at Doug Visually and his band. I've listened to their music, and even if they're not perfect, they are great in their own style from their vocals and instrumental talents. Doug and his band approved from Twilight's opinion as they make an applause with a smile on their faces. But as much as I want to give my approval to the bands, that's not what I'm here for. The princess closed her eyes and slowly makes her next move. Both Kiwi and Supernova looked at their laptop as they feel nervous when Twilight is shaking. Do you think we should help her? Supernova said in concern. She's not going to faint. We're still good, Kiwi replied. The princess moved her arm and pointed at her counterpart in the crowd. The spotlight has turned to Human Twilight, with the crowd turning their attention on. You see that girl who looks just like me minus the glasses and ponytail? She lifted her arm down. You may say we're twins, but we're really not. Celestia made it awkward when she mistaken human Twilight with the other back at the friendship games. The truth is, I don't live in this world. The crowd made a gasp from the princess's honesty. If any of you live closer to Cantalata, there's a statue with a portal leading to a different world. That world is Equestria. Equestria? Doc wondered as he looked at Dakota and Violet. I came to this world to take back the crown that belongs to me. Then when I came back, me and my friends tried to defeat the Dazzlings. Long story. And not only that, I'm also a princess. Then the crowd made a lot of gasps to think this version of Twilight is a princess. Looks like Royalty's princess friend is going to be well known when she's around, Vania commented. Twilight tried to find the right word so she can say next, but the fact the word princess has came out, there's no turning back. The only thing she can address is her last two returns in this weekend off. If you want to know why I keep coming back, it's because I was interested in things I missed. The Waybrooms went through so many situations. I mostly felt disappointed for not helping them. Granted, they didn't need my help, but still. She stopped herself as she looked at her friends. They felt a little ashamed for going on adventures without the Princess of Friendship. Even if they have to handle the setbacks, they miss the good but limited days with Princess Twilight. As for Human Twilight, it took her this long to see the motivations from our counterpart. It took a day off on the beach with 10 friends, a week on the second cruise vacation, and now a weekend off in the Starswirl Festival just to catch up on everything. When me and the Waybrooms leave, you're not going to see me anytime soon. As much as I want to know all of you personally, I didn't want to overpressure myself. But whenever something happens in the future of this world that catches my attention, I might come back. I don't know when the time is, but who knows. I've been thinking about this all day, but please, if you tell your friends and family about this, please don't encourage them to go to Cantalata and go through the portal. My friends went through an incident and it was a pain for them to gather their classmates from getting caught. That's the only thing I want from all of you, and that's all I have to say. Princess Twilight placed her microphone back at the stand as she's finally finished with her speech. The fans stood in silence for the next 10 seconds. Every word they heard from Twilight made them understand 100%. Suddenly the crowd cheered while giving an applause to the Princess of Friendship. Twilight opened her eyes in surprise from the ovation she made. The Waybrooms are excited that they're not in another situation between two worlds. A smile came to the princess that her speech had succeeded with nothing worse at all. Then Kiwi and Supernova came out from the left as they both clapped at Twilight's speech. We may not going to see you anytime soon, but for sure, in the near future, Supernova smiled. Now if you excuse us, we have a performance to give to our fans, Kiwi added. They gave her a hug as though instruments came from the ground up. The princess made her way to the Waybrooms in the front row of the crowd. PostCrush begins the final performance in the Starswirl Festival while the fans wave their glow sticks in the air. I gotta say, Starlight spoke while licking her ice cream. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of moments between you and your friends. We'll just see what happens, Twilight giggled. For the next hour of enjoying PostCrush, the Starswirl Festival has finally come to an end. The music has rest until the next festival returns like zeal. The Waybrooms say goodbye to their classmates and friends as they head back to Royalty's RV. They pack everything while Royalty starts up her RV. Unlike her, the Waybrooms feel exhausted after everything they went through this weekend. It was a weekend they'll never forget for a long time to come. Royalty dropped off Princess Twilight in Starlight Glimmer by Cantalata where the statue is located. They say goodbye as the two ponies went through the portal, heading back home to Equestria. Twilight felt proud of herself today. When the citizens know who she really is, she's no longer afraid of being out in the open in Sunset's world. With others spreading the information respectfully, things will work out more smoothly once she comes back. And Twilight's possible interest in the world she made tons of friends on the beach, on a cruise, and in the music festival is only the beginning.